Hallelujah.
All right. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
God bless each and every one that is here. May y'all continue to bless us. We move forward in the things here. And, God carry us through, and time is not waiting on anyone. So we have to move forward and go forth and be diligent. And that
Appreciate
which we have concluded and made a decision on. All our decisions to do those things there, and you're responsible for that decision. And, so we want to also take this time to welcome in all our listeners, those that's in Israel, those that's in Canada, those that's in the Philippines, India, and Lasaka, Zambia, and where else you might be picking us up on the internet. Into our house, where our motto is, come one, come all, and let us build our future upon the foundation of peace and love. Shalom, Be'ahab. And upon these two principles, see, when we learn to get along and to do those things, then are we, hanging in there. I was reading a little bit about what's going on now in the International Space Station up there in the up above the Earth, at the space station there and all that. Hey, the Russians and the Americans, and they all get along good up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about, hey, they ain't letting no political stuff, they ain't letting none of that stuff over that's happening in Ukraine and Russia, they ain't letting none of that stuff affect what we doing here. We gotta work and live for one another up here. So it is possible for men to do that. See? In life, or the country, what it's going to be about, get ourselves prepared ahead of time. See that we have an advantage. See? Because, as I said before, the Mashiach says that just because you're in the kingdom, don't mean you got it made.
Amen. Amen.
Because he says that he's going to send forth to gather out all that'll fit and don't fit into it.
That's right. That's right.
All I can say is to all of us, that's what I say, the same thing. Don't let it be me.
Amen.
That's
right.
And that's
right. That's right.
That's what our master used to say. He said, it ain't but one phase. Let it be in.
yeah. Yep. And that's an individual determination that each and one of us got to have. See? Not me, and then the next question is what you gonna do about it. To see to it that And if you ain't willing to do that, or if you're willing to do it, hey, that's your determination. Therefore, God have ordained through the foolish of preaching, to save the world. And you have a choice as to you're gonna believe or not.
Amen.
You're gonna respond or not. Hey,
Program is there.
that's everybody's, that's your choice. And those things there. And, let us make the right choice. God have always showed that to Israel, and I tell you, he ain't been doing too good. He hadn't been too good. Didn't do too good. I present this to you and that to you, and then he goes on and tell you what to choose, and we still didn't choose it. And now in these last end, we want to complain about it. The white man did bad, the white man did bad, and I ain't gonna let it, I ain't gonna let it, Hey, why are you surprised about that? Why are you dismayed about that? Yeah. Did not our Creator tell us about that? See? He told us about it. Therefore, don't go that route there, but don't take that because bad stuff down that way. Don't go down that pathway there that is. They had stuff stacked against you. Oh, well, hey, we can march your head. We can have victory over this. No, we can't.
You standing around the mountain, I bet you can do that.
Huh?
You just haven't been around that mountain.
Yep. Tough it.
I was reading an article where it was saying that the Africans don't like America.
The what?
The Africans don't like the black Americans.
Oh, no.
Like, I heard
That's true.
we're not from their country.
Yeah.
Because they know we in.
Right.
Because we don't eat grass.
There you go.
Yeah, they ain't rats over there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They eat tarantulas, rats, bats. Rats too, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't, and that's why I said we
Big
can't
old
get,
bowl of
we
them
can't
suckers
get
over.
overloaded with this color thing.
Flesh.
We can't get overloaded with this color thing. Like a lot of folks that got under the color, and hey, there's some people that got that same color and don't care a thing about you. And when I learned about the transatlantic slave trade, when I learned about it, boy, I was shocked. See? 'Cause I thought the white men went over there and conquered and took it all like that. No! I got a learning on that, didn't I? They had them out there on the big beach out there, and they had for the ship to come and pick them up. Right, that's what I'm saying. It was this color that they had them out there.
We had invaded the land over there.
Yeah, we were running because we got kicked out.
He was like, well, you ain't gonna make your home in my living room.
I can't blame. I'm not gonna blame them, God gave us our place and everything there. Well, that's it there, folks. Hey. All right, here's let's get our tally totals. Next to Lord our God, King of the that sanctify the commandments and commandments concerning the wrap ourselves in thee. All right. And as the rest of stand, you should be very strong book at this particular time on a piece of paper that have page 350 on it, or your folders. Women are 19 and up, men are 19 and up, youth is 12 to 18, and all is all who can read. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of Yah. Women,
Come and spirit, Yah. Stop the churning inside of me. Caused by the rush of getting everyone fed and here on time. Quiet my confusion, Yah, and all the tension of getting here. I know I made the effort because I really need you. Yah, speak to me in the quietness.
in his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name, for the Lord is good. Men,
I am thankful, Yah, for what we have, but this week has been so hectic, and it seems that no matter how hard I work and how well I plan, there is always something I didn't plan on, and there isn't enough time to go around. Forgive me, Yah, for letting worry get in the way of my gratitude. You are good to us, Yah. We do have so much to praise you for.
make a joyful noise unto the Lord our land. Serve God with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. You,
It's already seen so early in the morning. It's already clear with gladness to say something. It was not sweet to say we think that way, and especially out of the door. His word is not very fair. It seems like it can't be crazy. I know the Father so close to me, and I can't see the answer. But I know the answer, but that I'll see it.
Yah is my shepherd, I shall not want. He made me to lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. All.
Restore my soul, O Yah, and renew a right spirit within me. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which you have broken may rejoice. Cast me not away from your presence, and take not your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me with your free spirit.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And should I return to face the holy city in this direction here? For I open to Philip, I open prayer, I coin Baraka, and the Shema. Ruka Katana, Hannah Melakalam, bless you, Lord God, King of the universe. I don't know about you today. Thank you for your help and strength. Thank you for each and every one that is here. Thank you for you answering our prayers and
Hallelujah.
our requests that we have asked, and I cry unto you when things might go on the way it should be, and we just thank you for your response, and you carry out those things, and we just ask you to continue to bless us and keep us in that safe journey. We also look up to you for our healing, whether it is spiritual healing, or physical healing, or whether we're in need of both physical and spiritual healing. We know nothing is impossible with you, and we need those things there, because when our bodies are ailing, it cuts on our spiritual. And when our spiritual is down, it cuts on our body. So the fact that we need you to work us and to heal us and keep us strong and both of those things, and nothing is impossible with you. Therefore, we look up to you for those things, that we might be the people that go forth, showing forth your saving help. We thank you for sending your son.
Thank you. Thank you.
We did not faint, you give up on us, went all the way to the shed of his blood, that we might have an opportunity to enter into the glorious promise and plan that you have for those that love you and keep your commandments. We also shout out special blessing and special request for those who are in the hospital and those who are sick among us, that under the doctor's advice and those things there, that they will come out all right too, and you will give them a speedy recovery. And that we all might go forth, showing forth that saving help. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, that you rest and prosper her. Keep our leaders strong. Keep our sister and brothers safe there, as well as us safe here. Bless my mouth. Bless our ears. So see what you're saying, what you want me to say, that we might have time lives, and be not amongst your people and perish for lack of mind. Continue to bless me, go further in the service. Always bless my ass by his son's name. Yeshua HaMashiach, the man whose name is the branch. Amen.
Amen.
At this particular time, you should be near a Bible, preferably the complete Jewish Bible, by Kohen Baraka, which is found on page 153. Which is Numbers, the 6th chapter. I will read the 23rd verse. Then you can read both the 24th and the 27th together. Speak to Aaron and his sons, and tell them that this is how you are to bless the people of Israel. You are to say unto them all together, Yivarakah Adonai v'yish barakah. May Adonai bless you and keep you. Yahweh Adonai Panav Electra V'Yuneka. May Adonai make his face shine on you and show you his favor. Yisa Adonai Panav Electra V'Yasem Shalom. May Adonai lift up his face towards you and give you peace. In this way, they are to put my name on the people of Israel, so that I will bless them. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
I ask you now to join with the Shema in Hebrew. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Yod, Melechuto, Leolam Vayed. Now, you can get your Bibles and turn to page 204 in the complete, which is Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter. 4th to the 9th verse will be what we'll be reading. The first two verses, 4 and 5, is what we said in Hebrew. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, Adonai God, Adonai is one, and you are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, all your being, and all your resources. These words that I'm ordering you today are to be on your heart, and you are to teach them carefully to your children. You know, talk about them when you sit at home, when you are traveling on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Tie them on your hand at this time. Put them at the front of the headband, around your forehead, and write them on the door frames of your house and on your gates. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Also ask you to go to page 1279 in the complete. Which is Mark the 12th chapter, 28th to the 31st verse, and see what the Mashiach had to say concerning the same subject. One of the Torah teachers came up and heard him engage in this discussion. Seeing that Yeshua answered them well, he asked him,
Which is the most important wisdom of all?
Yeshua answered, the most important is Shema, Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And you are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your understanding, and with all your strength. The second is this: you are to love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other mitzvah greater than these. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
All right. You should be able to sing the song when you spend my time if not going to do it with all my heart. right here. Yes, some tough things that God has set up. Some tough things that God has set up.
Thank you
You know,
for your love. Thank you.
as I tell folks, I personally want to see it in a different way, one of the different ways. Who am I? See? Therefore, it's important that we all learn who we're dealing with. Yeah, I'm trying to hide in those things. Yeah, therefore, you know, like I said, you know, that really kind of got me when he gave the parable about the, you know, the talents that he gave to the servants there. That old boy that he gave that one talent to, he you know. And I was looking through there for in the judgment time, telling me for God say, no, you had me wrong. I wasn't that way, and I never found that. I never seen that in there. Have anybody else said it?
No.
Have you looked through and seen it?
No.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, he backed it up.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, he told him you're right. Yeah. I am that way. And that's why you share the one I did with you. That's why you share the one I did like these others did. Yeah. And by the fact you are going and agreeing to it and telling me that you don't get no mercy. Right? You don't get no grace. Because you knew what you was doing. You didn't mean you was ignorant and stuff that you really know. But no, you knew what you was doing. Here's that talent you gave me. It's okay, then take that, give that to the old one right there. We should grab him. I got something for you now. We gotta learn our God, yeah, folks. We gotta learn who we're dealing with.
Amen. Hallelujah.
And sometimes, you know, going through Torah, then we see some things in there that not fit you, like what you want, but hey, but that's tough on all those things here. Therefore, we got to go along with Scripture says, and we got to know who we're doing, and go with Him. We go to Psalm 68:4. There are people nowadays, you know, they want to not follow what God has said, and they get the little sneaky ways of doing it, you know, and to make them sound like they, you know. Well, I don't see him that way. Yeah, you know, I regard him as a man above. I look at him and say, but what titles are you talking about? Then, man above, creator. Now, those are titles. But here in Psalm 68:4, he says, sing to God, sing praises to his name. And as I said, there's something special about that, put that name to it. And like I said, I really never got that really engraved into me until I was dealing with some young children. They ain't hardly old enough to know a lot of other stuff and everything else, but they know their name. And if you call it the wrong name, what they gonna do?
They're gonna let you know.
They're gonna let you know. They're gonna let you know.
I guess they said you got this man, you must have been bothered.
Yeah. Ain't none of my name. Uh-oh.
You should know it, because you the one gave it.
And so we find out that y'all love that name too. So maybe that's something he inherited that he put in all of it, you know, part of something that we inherited from him, you know. That he says here, sing praises to his name, extol him who rides on the clouds by his name, Yah, who we have upon our banner of truth here.
Hallelujah.
YH, that's his name.
Amen.
But as you know, the devil will get into everything. And he would try to make problems with everything. And he did. He was successful there, right? Man, I remember the years ago, we go to different groups and everything there, man, and they would come up with some names, man. You know? Yeah, Yahuwah and Yahweh and Yahweh, Yahweh. I mean, there's everything, so we can't get along. See? And God's not the author of confusion. Okay? So some of us in the group and everything, we, you know, I tell folks about how, you know, came with this yard stuff, and then we got some groups, you know, that start saying, and calling who we meet. Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty Yah.
What's wrong? Yeah, some of the groups, they were a little mad about it, but some of them started coming around. They started kind of coming around, you know, those things, you know. They said, well, that's a short for them, man. I don't argue with them all, and it's long for them, and boy, they can't get along with that. I said, so why don't we get along with what we can agree with then?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And some of them too pride, they don't love no reason to them. You don't like, you know. Huh? Oh, yeah! Man, you surprised for a lot of stuff. Huh? Yeah. Well, it's something that we don't like correction. You know? And that's what I found out is from, we don't like correction.
You talking about that this morning, there's a kingdom of darkness.
Well, you know, it's like, you know, because we get deceived. Okay? And you need correction when you're wrong. Okay? You know, and it's something, and it's something about I don't know, it's something internal about us, man. You know, I tell a story, you know, that I was out to ORU, and then at nighttime, and I came out of that place, different route and everything, and next thing you know, I'm heading out. I don't know if any of y'all ever done that. I'm heading out the wrong way. They're gonna head to Tulsa, man. And I turned around, I said, wait a minute, something right here. So this ain't. And so finally, the old humble is finally on. I said, I'm gonna stop him. I gotta stop him there somebody. So I put up to the station up there, man. Asked the guy about it and tell him what I done. And so he gave me some instructions. So I gave me some instructions. He said, you go up here and you turn, you know, you go up there 2 blocks, two lights and everything there. Then you make a turn of it, then you go on down, you know, a couple of then you make a turn, and then you say, then you're on your route. Man, I went there and I followed the first 2 instructions. And then when it came to the 3rd instruction, do you know my mind is telling me,
I'm saying.
This ain't right. I ain't recognizing nothing, I ain't seeing that, this ain't right. This man don't know what he's talking about. This actually was a battle in my mind.
Sometimes if he ain't the same color, he's all right. He ain't gonna, he ain't gonna give it right.
Yeah, look for any excuse.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm glad the old one eye. I said, now, what am I saying? I had to stop. I said, now put in the wheel. I'm sitting there be arguing about this man telling you, I know that I was lost. I said, I went to, and all of a sudden now, I won't know. And the guy was wrong, and I'm supposed to know.
Now y'all know confused what he doing.
Yeah. I said, I'm going to follow up what this guy said. I don't care what it is. And I'm going to make that turn there. And boy, I kind of toughed that deal till I started seeing that. I said, oh, yeah. I know where I'm at now. Boy, was I glad that I followed what that guy said. But it's something about it, I don't know. You know, I don't know why does that happen like that, you know? I mean, I can't blame nobody else. That was me. Can't blame it. Well, nobody else in the car that said otherwise, they can be dogs because they didn't know either. But for some reason, it came to my mind and said, this guy. Yeah.
You showing up.
Well, the one over there, you know, it was my ex-wife that she done told me, you lie. You know, when people tell you that you sure don't want to do that there. Yeah, she said, I think you lost. You don't know where you go. I don't recognize none of this guy here. I'm the man. Yeah. Man, but they get going to get stranger and stranger and stranger. I ain't seeing nothing. I ain't seeing no kind of sign. So like I said, I finally stopped and pulled up from Phillips station and asked him. He gave me the right instructions and everything, and like I said, I followed the first two, and come to that last one, I didn't want to do it.
It's like the medication. All of them.
Yeah.
I need a couple of them.
Yeah, I did. I learned the hard way too. So some of us have to learn the hard way, you know. It ain't good to always learn the hard way, dear folks. Let me tell you, it's not good.
But you better still get you home.
Yeah. And we come back and face that too. I came dragging in there, and the doctor said, first thing he said, you didn't do what I tell you to do. And do you know I want to lie to the guy? Yeah. Do you know I wanted to lie to this guy? And I said, Doc, you're right. I said, I didn't follow your instructions. He said, next time, do this and this and you better do it. I said, Doc, you ain't got to worry about that. Oh boy, it knocked on me, boy. That backset was worse than the first one. Yeah, man, that was tough, boy. Hey, like I said, hey, when I got through the last bottle of it, man, and everything, that last drop there, I took some water, put some water in it, put the cap on it and rinse it. That's right. You get there, boy, you shut up in there and drunk that.
And we had a relapse, and it lasted about a month, he was scared to say he's going off the June.
Yeah, man, that relapse is tough. But You gotta learn how to, you know, to do those things and follow through on those things that it might be well with us on that end. And we go to the 8th verse here, and we find out who this God is. It says, the earthquake and rain poured from the sky at the presence of God. Even Sinai shook at the presence of God. The God of Israel. And as I tell folks, if your God is not the God of Israel, you are serving and worshiping a false and idol God, and you will perish with your God. There is no hope. Okay? There is no hope. Because you start off on the wrong foot. Okay? So you gotta start out with something solid, in order to get them. But the God of Israel is the only true God. And then once you do those things there, you're just not getting started. Not over with. I read a lot of Hebrew Israelite folks that are coming into it, understanding who they is and all those things, and they think that's it. And I said, no, that ain't it. I said, there's more required. There's other things. No. But you just understand. I got the color, and I got the blood. And therefore, hey, that's it. I said, let me tell you something about the color and the blood. I said, let me tell you about the color and the blood. In AD 70, they had the color and the blood. Yeah, right. I said that. And they got the advantage way over you. And boy, they don't like to hear that. They get mad about that. Who you talking about? Who you talking about? Them Khazari Jews and stuff, they don't want over there in Israel that they got the blood and all that. And I said, what you bragging about? What you sitting over there hollering and bragging about? But we got the blood, I said, let me tell you something. I said, you need to start double checking on that blood you talking about.
You mix it all.
Yeah! That was your hickle rag. I said, man, let me tell you something. You hunt around about you got 100%. You ain't got no 100%. Not over here in America. The masters had their way. I'm looking at this picture here. His name is it Henry Gates? Jr.?
There's a Henry Gates.
Huh?
There is a Henry Gates.
Okay. He looks up. He looks up people's right. Exactly. He looks up people where they come from and they go back down. And this one guy, he was a radio Madison. Exactly. That's exactly right. Madison. And he thought he was all this and all that. And found out that, oh no, brother, you got some nasty in your blood. You got some nasty in your blood.
Like you walk around with blue eyes and food.
Well, see, we can jump on the wrong perspective of something and just get all messed up. Get all locked in on that. You have to be, I was there too at one time. I thought the same thing, and so I had to be corrected on that. I had to let that go.
Just make sure that you're doing what y'all said.
There you go. There you go. And that's exactly what the prophet had to come along and tell Israel. You go to Isaiah 43, they had all the aspects. They had all those things here. Yeah. And y'all told them, how is it that you got all this stuff screwed up? he starts right out and says, you are my witness, says Adonai. How you get all this stuff mixed all up here? And my servants. See? There was a reason why he was saying that, because, we like to think that God, as I say, he just wait there for how, just anything that we want, whatever we want, he just wait there. Yeah, name it and claim it. Don't just do that kind of stuff. He said, whom I have chosen, so that you can know and trust me and understand that I am he. We sit up there thinking that he's a them and they and all that other stuff, and then thinking he's going to do all this stuff for us. He said, I am he. What you mean by that? No God was produced before me, nor will any be after me. I am Adonai. I'm the owner. Besides me, there is no deliverer. I have declared, said, and proclaimed, not some alien God among you. Therefore, you are my witness, if you don't have any alien gods among me. Okay? He said, therefore, you are my witness, says Adonai. I am God. Okay? A lot of them didn't like that, boy. They wanted to get going. That's so bad. God said, hold on. We're going to see what their God's going to do. Going to do for them. We're going to come out to the area. Probably making fun of them. Hey, man, maybe we need to holler out at them. Maybe he's sleeping. Maybe we're arrested right now. They're cutting themselves, blood flowing and all that. The host. And as far as my understanding, they had the color in the blood. Them was the Israelites and all that. They had the color in the blood.
So,
It didn't help them, no.
no, they got killed too, just like the next person.
And so we better make sure we get the thing on the right line here. Isaiah 44, 6-8. Thus says Adonai, Israel's king and redeemer, Adonai Zebaoth. I am the first and I am the last. Besides me, there is no God. See? I had to be corrected on that. Coming up as a little boy and everything, they had me believing that there's three of them. Okay? Who is like me? Let him speak out. Let him show me clearly what has been happening since I served the eternal people. Let him foretell future signs and events. Don't be frightened. Don't be afraid. Did I tell you this long ago? I foretold it, and you are my witnesses. Is there any God besides me? Yes, well, is there any God besides our God?
No.
No, not any.
Yes, well, is there any God besides our God?
No. No, not any.
They said, is there any God besides me? He said, there is no other rock. I know of none. And if he don't know of any, see? Put it in the word, we run around and holler like, yeah, we got this. And we, as one guy told me, brother, you just don't understand the deep mystery. Yeah. So, brother.
There's some Jews believe in a greater Yahweh and a lesser Yahweh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Anything except what he said.
Right.
It's just like what I said, and the Israelites they believe that it's all right to have their eyes on gods. Yeah. They just said, and they just said, just long as I can have all the gods I want, just long as I don't have them before God,
Right.
Oh, I think some people believe the big eyes. They got the little G.
Yeah. Well, Satan made fools of us all kind of ways. But then the man himself came, the Mashiach come along himself, and John 5:30, he makes this proclamation. Okay? And that's what I tell folks. I can't do a thing on my own. As I hear, I judge. And my judgment is right because I don't seek my own desire. He already told you I can't do a thing on my own. And I don't seek my own desire. Why? Because the position that he's in. God has certain positions and all those things right there. And that's the way it is. Yeah? We can make it look bad or we can accept it as it is. There are those who thought because I said those things, I was belittling him, but he didn't see it as a belittling. But they saw it as a belittling. You love my Jesus. I said, hey, look, I'm telling you what the man said.
Right.
That's what he said.
That's the case, he belittled himself.
Yeah. I said, he didn't see it as no belittlement. He saw it as an actual fact. As a matter of fact, we're going to get into a little bit of that today here. In our Parashah for today. It's a matter of whose perspective you're looking at it at. See? He said, I can't do a thing on my own. As I judge, I hear, I judge, and my judgment is right because I don't seek my own desire, but the desire of the one who sent me. He let you know that there's somebody above him. And if that wasn't clear enough, and that wasn't cryptic enough, John 14:28, he comes straight on out and tells us. And people still yet, don't want to believe it. Call me all kind of names and everything. Because I said this. You heard me tell you, I'm leaving, and I will come back to you. If you love me, you would have been glad that I'm going to the Father. And that's why I always get on the end, right? I said, wait a minute. I say, if your Trinity is right and everything here, what kind of talking is he doing here? What kind of talking is he doing? He said, I'm going to the Father. And I'm sitting there listening to you, you telling me that he is the Father. And he said he's going to the Father. Then they say, well, brother, you just don't understand them deep mysteries. That's what they're deep mysteries. I said, well, brother, that's too deep a mystery for me. I said, then how do you get this from him? He said, because the Father is greater than I am. And y'all want to say, y'all call him a lie. I said, therefore, that deep mystery you talking about is a lie. And I said, and there ain't no understanding no lie. Because a lie just keeps changing. That makes it a deep mystery, all right. Because it just keeps changing, I mean. Therefore, we gotta get our act together and get those things. I believe what he says. Okay? Not the Trinity. I believe what he says. Okay? The Father, then the Son, then everything under that. Okay? And that's what we teach here. Okay? And I tell them, hey, if you got to believe that and all those things, you head to the wrong place. The one lady told me, I sure feel sorry for y'all.
Thank you for your sympathy.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for y'all. Y'all just listen. I said, Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Mine is made up. I'm sticking with what he says. Hey, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's the way it's gonna go. All right, we're gonna have our Israel update by David in Israel.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm glad to see everybody that is out. And glad to see that y'all had watchdovers and the testers this week. I ain't heard none of us come down with the virus this week, so that's good.
Monkeypox.
Yeah, I'm monkeypox. You know monkeypox is growing.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Oh, yeah, it's growing, yeah. Over 2,000 cases already in the U.S. So that's coming along pretty good. But they say the majority is the funny money.
Oh.
Yeah, men. Yeah. It sure is growing in that area. Yeah. So they catch it. I know we were talking in the at break back there, and they was telling me, I think Mason and Shonda was telling me about this transgender man as a woman. He went to the penitentiary,
Yeah.
and they put him in the women's part, and a couple of women come up pregnant.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Nobody didn't know he wasn't.
yeah. And so, you know that, hey, I'm saying you have women that might have been in there for a long time. They go, oh no, you got to come out of this woman act. Yeah, you coming out of that. Yeah, we got some ways to pull you out of that. Yeah, you gonna get a beat down. So you better head down with you.
They said the women started threatening.
Oh, man. Oh, I tell you. But, did any of y'all hear about this? I seen it on the news. It said that a Walgreens employee refused to sell condoms to a couple on religious grounds. Yeah. They coming in to buy some condoms, but they wasn't ready to have no child. And he or she wouldn't sell it to them because of religious beliefs. And I think Walgreens backed him up. Yeah. So I wonder if it was the opposite, what would happen? Suppose he went to one that did believe it. So would they have got on him too? No. But they sure did. They
There was a woman that did that with the marriage license. She didn't get away with it though.
Huh?
A woman.
Oh, yeah,
Sell a marriage license.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, she didn't get away with it though.
Yeah, she refused to sell two men or two women for marriage license.
Marriage license.
Yeah. Mhm. And
Yeah, then they done give it to them. So they wouldn't.
yeah.
I think that might be because of what the Supreme Court Justice,
Kavanaugh,
no, not Kavanaugh,
the black.
yeah, the black,
Okay.
Thomas,
Oh,
Clarence Thomas.
okay.
Yeah, he said that they gonna look into the contraceptives and stuff that people do. They had already returned to Roe and Wade. Now,
Right.
Now they said now we're gonna start looking into it.
I heard that too about.
Yeah, and so now people are getting a lot of that. know that, hey, it's wrong for you to use contraceptives.
Right, okay.
But see, if they got them in that store to be sold, they shouldn't be asking you a question, why you buying them? That's not their business.
Yeah. Well, the decision he made is making the damn business. Yeah. Y'all see why our president called COVID?
Yeah.
But you see, he let down on the guard. Dr. Warren is mad.
Yeah. It shows that how he
Yeah,
meeting with all the people.
see why he was going to all them 2 or 3 companies, he didn't have on nothing.
Yeah.
He let peer pressure got to him. Yeah, because what the Republican was saying, they had, he wearing a mask, he don't need to wear no mask.
Oh, yeah.
Blah, about that, so.
And now when you get it, then the first one blast him about it.
Oh, yeah. And you see how they do, they talk about it like, can't walk up the stairs, can't do this, can't talk right.
That old man needs to sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they never, and they never said pray for him like they did Trump.
Right.
Yeah. They always talk about pray for Trump. Give him a chance. They ain't never said nothing like that about Biden. But when he caught that COVID, well, we need to pray for him, then he get better, because they don't want that black woman in. Yeah, we need to pray for him, then he get better. Boy, they can't stand her. Yeah, they don't want no part of her. Boy, when I tell you, hatred is something else.
Yep.
Yeah. It says the heat is affecting 120 million people in the South. And 120 million of them is under a heat warning. I think I heard that it was 20. I think nationwide, it says 120 million people that died because of the heat. I mean, 120, yeah. 120 of them died.
In the South?
Yeah, we have nationwide.
Oh, nationwide.
Yeah. But you look at, y'all seen the Colorado River that run down through the Grand Canyon?
Oh, yeah.
It's just about, that thing is drying up, man. Yeah. Boy, they showed that, man, that water look like it's a half a mile from the bank. Yeah, that thing is really low. Yeah. And they say it's gonna affect all of Southern California.
Yeah.
Because they all depend on it.
Right.
Yeah, but it's drinking water, irrigation, and all that stuff. So, so you're gonna have a lot of, if they can't irrigate their strawberries or whatever they pick, oranges, apples or whatever, it's gonna be a shortage of that stuff.
Yep.
And then y'all see what the truck driver
Yeah.
in California is striking
Yeah.
because they ain't getting what they want. And so you're gonna have a lot of them big containers floating around out there in the ocean. But they can't come to shore. And then the truck drivers ain't hauling them. So that's gonna be another shortage of stuff.
They bring a lot, supposed to bring a lot of vegetables and stuff in.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of rest and produce and a lot of other stuff they got out there. From China.
And Walmart shelf them gonna be pretty empty.
Yeah. So that's gonna drive stuff up.
So real.
Yeah. And you can't blame it on gas, because gas is really going down. Matter of fact, gas in Oklahoma is I think something 3.45 this morning. That's under a dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That ain't bad. That's going down pretty good.
Yep.
You know? And it's steady going down all the time. And they don't want to give that credit to Biden.
Oh, no.
They don't talk about it when it's going down. They don't talk about it when it's going up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the cheapest I've seen it, 3.45. That's pretty good. And my boy Trump, boy, he catching it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he catching it now, boy. Yeah. And they seem to think that some of them Secret Service guys, that they come on in and tell the truth about what they say it sure is, that's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they listen between now and September that they gonna have a lot more on it.
So you think someone's gonna come forward?
Yeah, they come up. Yeah, because the Roger Stone, what his name? Yeah. No, not Roger Stone, but
Steve Bannon.
yeah, Steve Bannon. They talking about already giving him 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they found him guilty.
Yeah. He playing around and
Yeah.
acting crazy and stuff. Yeah. They really got him. Yeah. And so, you know, a lot of them is running scared now. Yeah. Yeah, they begin to think, well, hey, maybe they is serious, maybe they ain't playing. So maybe we might need to come on and tell the truth. Yeah. Because I remember seeing when they first went down there, they showed Trump, he was in this deal like a studio. It was something like that. And and they had this big old glass picture window in it and a big old screen TV. And he was watching them doing like this in, waving his hand, like, come on. Yeah. Yeah. Showed him doing it. Him and some more people.
Mm.
Yeah. Some more dignitaries was up there with him doing the same thing. Yeah. And so a lot of them are running scared now. Yeah. Because they was in on it and plus they following the money trail. Yeah, and a lot of them governors and senators are in on that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it really, they really begin to cut heads on it now. Yeah. So this thing is going, I don't know if they gonna send him to jail or not. But I say this, they'll probably make it where he'll never get to run for office again.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to put him on house arrest and lock him in the top floor of Trump Tower.
Yeah, he'll never get to run. He'll never get to run for office again.
He announced his presidency, run for 30, think it's gonna hit it,
Yeah.
you know, on the January 6th.
Mhm.
Ron DeSantis then already took your spot, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Democrats, they see now that they got to pick up at least 5 or 6 more seats in the midterm.
I don't see it.
Because if they don't, then them two, they say they Democrats, but them two Republicans they got in there saying that they Democrats. They holding up everything.
That mansion was.
Yeah.
Imagine
Even that
that.
woman from Arizona, where
Sunday.
yeah. And if they pick up 5 or 6 more seats, then they ain't got to use them. So
I'm trying to figure out how Duke still got his seat.
Huh?
I'm still trying to figure out how Manchin still got his seat.
Yeah. He got some big donors.
Cold.
Yeah. Because they really, it's a whole lot, but, you take, this abortion thing, and the gun thing, them two done prevailed to the front. Them is the two number one issues now.
Well, abortion, gun control, and transgender.
Yeah, transgender.
Those are
And-
hot
and-
topics.
Well, I don't care too much about the transgender.
Well, I'm just saying those are the hot topics.
Yeah,
right
no,
now.
they do.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's the hot
You got way more bigger problems to be worried about transgender.
Yeah,
Well, they're trying to redefine words and stuff. That's what's getting on my
Yeah.
nerves.
but I think them two is, well, it was 3-2. Them three is gonna help Democrats in the midterm. Yeah. Because, I see gas going back down to $2 a gallon again. Yeah. It's headed that way now, I think it is. And actually, it started coming down before Biden started going over to there, talking to them. It was coming down before then. Yeah. So they can't put it all on that and say, well, it's because he didn't know, because it's coming down way before that. Yeah. And, I got one more thing to talk about, and that's Netanyahu. A lot of them seem to think that, that they done told Netanyahu a political lifeline. Yeah, because the reason that the parliament done fell apart, and, but they seem to think that if you do come up for a vote, that they seem to think that he can build a coalition.
Yeah.
They seem to think that if you run again,
Just won't go away, will he?
Huh?
I said, that guy just won't go away, will he?
no, you get like drunk. He's trying to hang in there. Yeah.
Trump 2020.
Especially because he feels if he can get back in there, then he can wash away all that other stuff they got against him. Yeah. Especially if they start a little war with Iran. Yeah. Oh, it's over.
Little
Yeah.
boy, I ain't gonna be little.
Yeah, he got it made. Well, like I said, they think they done told him a political lifeline now. Then he got a big chance. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, that's fine. Oh, yeah, and, this, one more time. This, COVID-19 rising, in the US, and it blessed into the summer. This, what's that, BA5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, BA4 and 5, they say that stuff is moving fast. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, BA5.
Oh, that's what
Different
Biden got?
strains.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Biden doing a lot better, when Trump had it, he couldn't hardly breathe,
But
but,
Trump had that stronger,
yeah. He had that stronger person. Yeah. But Biden seems to be cruising right on through here.
So what they say the number is now, 20 billion people dying?
No,
They're not
ain't
counting
nobody.
Biden no more?
No, I mean, the death done slowed down.
right.
Yeah, but the infection done speeded up. Yeah, you got more people catching it now than you did actually.
I don't think, did-
I've had it twice. I've been trying both times.
I don't think,
I think so.
this is, killing people faster like that other virus.
But they saying that people like me, old as I am, they say you definitely need to wear your mask every day. Yeah.
Oh, that what they
Yeah,
said?
and they saying that, they've been to start the mandate of wearing masks back in school too. Some of the schools are already started.
Kept it in there first.
Yeah. Yeah, because this stuff, it's spreading too fast. Okay, that's my introduction.
I did want to mention about, Turkey had got agreements with Putin and over in Russia about all that grain over there that they get because Africa needs the grain and a lot of places need the grain and everything. And so they agreed. So they got agreements then, but it was all praising Erdogan because he done Turkey because he made a negotiation with Russia and everything to release all that grain that they got over and everything here. And what do you think what happened?
Right. Well, they had made the agreement. And then Russia fired four missiles. Plane. The shipyard, what it goes.
Right, the shipyard, what it was shipping it all and agreed to it and everything then.
Yeah, and they intercepted two of them and then two hit.
That Putin, boy, he just sorry talking. You can't even trust him.
Yeah. The Bible tells us evil men shall wax worse and worse. And that's what's happening here, folks. All these things are symbols of what's taking place. And let us know we're in the last days, right? Now they say he hit school buildings and all that stuff there, and hey, he just hit it. Whatever you want to get over there.
Because they won't give up.
Any other war, you kill civilians, boy,
No, you're not in big trouble. We done killed thousands of people. Or we killed thousands of people.
But I'm talking about if you just kill them and, not accidentally. I'm talking about just literally kill.
Brother Liddell, there's video of U.S. soldiers blatantly killing civilians in Iraq and nothing ever happened.
But it used to be that way. I'm talking about this particular lately. You're talking about. I'm talking about you.
Oh yeah, back in the day where they actually had honor among thieves. Yeah.
I ain't talking about this.
Yeah, there's no honor among thieves anymore.
That's your fault.
Yeah, especially when nobody ain't declared war against you. He delivered this declared war against them people. People that didn't do nothing to him.
Well, this expect these things even get worse and worse. In other words, your words don't mean a thing. Your vows and your don't mean a thing. But God has a different reference of those things there and all that. So that was something very interesting there. All right, we'll ask you to bow your heads now. Bless your life, God, King of the earth, for giving us your Torah, the writings and the prophets, and the rigor that shines by thy great spirit, and have commanded us a diligent teaching unto our children, unto our people, and all people of the earth. And let all Israel say, Amen. Our Torah reading for this week's Parashah is found in Numbers, the 30th chapter, starting at the second verse, through the 32nd chapter and the 42nd verse. That is Numbers 30th chapter and the second verse, through the 32nd chapter and the 42nd verse. Our Haftorah reading is taken from Jeremiah, the first chapter, through the second chapter and the third verse. That is Jeremiah 1:1 through the second chapter and the third verse. This week's Parashah is Parashah 42, Mattot, and it means head of tribe. And our scripture reading will be taken from the Haftorah reading, which will be given by our Shemash, our Don Ben Israel. Let us give him our undivided attention as he read the word of God to us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Scripture reading today is taken from Jeremiah 1:15 through the 19th verse. Jeremiah 1:15 through 19 is page 545. Can you complete? It says, because I will summon all the families in the kingdom of the north, says Adonai, and they will come and sit, each one on his throne, and the entrance to the gates of Jerusalem, opposite its walls, all the way around, and opposite all the cities of Yehudah. I will pronounce my judgment against them for all their wickedness in abandoning me, offering incense to other gods, and worshiping what their own hands made. But you, dress for action, stand up and tell them everything I order you to say. When you confront them, don't break down, or I will break you down in front of them. For today you see, I have made you into a fortified city, a pillar of iron, a wall of bronze against the whole land, against the kings of Yehudah, against its princes, against its Kohanim and the people of the land. They will fight against you, but you will not overcome, but they will not overcome. For I am with you, says Adonai, to rescue you. May Yah add a special blessing to the reading of the word.
Yah ain't dealing with our people and setting things in line for how he wanted to go and how he wanted it to be. And it is up to us, to find out and to follow through on what he has in mind. Not for us to conclude and come up with those things on our own. And it certainly gotten that way and messed up even more when we don't understand the tradition and when we don't understand the customs, when we don't understand the things that's going forth here. But today, God had got some things straight with them, and hopefully that they had learned some lessons and everything there by taking these the heads of all the tribes and the leaders and hung them. Because he wasn't pleased with him and all those things here. Then he comes back down and he makes some things here that show you that is very dear to God about. And we start this up by reading Numbers, the 30th chapter there. And we're going to read the first two verses there on Numbers 30.
Okay. It says, then Moshe spoke to the heads of the tribes of the people of Israel.
Now these are heads that didn't get killed. These are ones that was definitely, people get the word dead. I don't know if this is such a good idea to be in this position here. There's some dangerous stuff in now. See? But Yah said, no. If you follow the things like you should be, it shouldn't be that way. See? But you got to understand that. So he said, speak to them, because we still need heads. See? you still need, you still got to have the structure of things. Whether folks like it or not, or whether, when they see something, but you need that structure, for things to operate and to go forward. See, because you just, people will just do whatever they want to do and all the same time, and that sure is going to get things all out of sort here. So he said, gather them that done, in that place there now, and they don't saw what happened to them and all those things there, and let them look and see, do your job right. If you do your job right, you ain't got to worry about me. You ain't got no problems with me.
Right.
But just because you're the head, you're the leader, don't mean that you're going to get by. See? God picks this charge, picked this time to make these things available to take advantage of it. And so we don't know.
He said, here's what Adonai has ordered. When a man makes a vow to Adonai or formally obligates himself by swearing an oath, he is not to break his word, but is to do everything he said he would do.
Now, stop right there. Y'all said, hey, there ain't no relenting. So you need to be very mindful. You're the leaders, you're the head. You better be very careful about how you execute that position. There are a lot of folks that they want that position and those things there, but they don't want the whole thing that goes along with that. Yeah, consequences and all that comes along with that. See? And so he said, when a man opens his mouth and says some stuff like that there, he's locked in. But I didn't mean that. Well, you should have been rash in saying that. You should have been, think twice before you open your mouth. Because God is very, he looks at people. Because that's how he operates. His words. He said, my words go forth out. And he put man in that same position. See? So be very mindful of those things there. So he said that you in that position, you the head, you the leaders, and you know those things there. There's some responsibility. Not just the fact that, okay, I'm the head, that means I can go on the boss and no. See? Yes.
That's where I get it from. When people lie to me, God hate a lying tongue. When a person lie to me, I get irritated because I feel like I got trust issues. They not lying to me, they lying to themselves. Where they do that at? In the world.
Everywhere.
Exactly. Human beings.
Exactly.
Well, you better know what you're doing because as a matter of fact, they just went out there and saw a bunch of them out there with their head hanging out there and their face turned towards the sun. There wasn't no plaything. It was a serious thing here. It wasn't nothing to kid about. And not only that, but them that had got wrong on there, 24,000 of them that done got it. See? So it was right after this making this statement here, he wants us to get some understanding, and he wants to get some of how this thing is to go forth, and put you stepping and put you get yourself into the under and in. And so he says here that and this is to a man. You got our people say, well, they like to brag about being the man. I'm the man. Okay. Then, yeah, you are the man. See? That's it. And so with you being the man, and those things there, there's qualification for you to be the man.
Looks like an old child. All those people below him Oh, yeah, they mean business up there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. So, so we told him, he said, now, y'all make a vow to God and those things there. Keep the vow, keep the word. Be a man of your word. Okay? It's a lot easier, people like, like to run around the house, but I'm this, I'm not that, get shit, but they don't wanna perform like what they're supposed to perform. Okay? And that don't get it. Okay? There's a lot of things that goes along with that. So we said that, so you want to stretch that real good, that second verse again? What did it say?
It says, when a man makes a vow to Adonai, or formally obligates himself by swearing an oath, he is not to break his word, but is to do everything he said he would do.
So you better be very mindful of what you say. And I was gonna say, don't take it lightly. Take this thing very serious. Sometimes we like to get up, we want to show off, we want to do it, we jump out in the ritual, let's say something real quick, and then, well, I didn't mean that. But you understand, now? That's the criteria, that's the thing that comes with a man. See? So man was put in a very tough position. Yeah. Nothing to play around with. And so you better be really thinking second and third times about what you do when you jump up on, hey, you want to go forth those things there. That's it. So don't be so hasty to run out our mouths, without listening to what we're saying.
Right.
That's the image that we in. That's part of the image that we in, like God. See, there comes a responsibility. There comes that goes along with those things there. It's just something easy. But, man, understand that. There's a responsibility for you.
Mm-hmm.
See? You want to jump on holler, I'm the man. And then I see you with words represented of being, and he's talking to the heads now, talking to the head. And now we're gonna read on a little bit more there.
Third verse says, when a woman makes a vow to Adonai, formally obligating herself while she is a minor living in her father's house, then if her father has heard what she vowed or obligated herself to do and holds his peace, then all the vows remain binding.
All right, now, but let me tell you something. Now God starts saying, it's a little bit different for a woman. Oh, there it is. Making a difference between the women and the man. But, yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference. And it depends on which way you want to look at it as to determine how the perspective is about it. See? But you got to understand the condition. But if she's a woman, she's under the tutorship of the household and everything else, she's getting some training. See? And if she makes a vow, didn't say she couldn't make a vow. Don't get that wrong now. You don't say that she can't make a vow. But she ain't totally, please get this, she is not totally 100%, see, responsible or obligated like the man.
Right.
See? The woman, see, And this is why I say you gotta be very careful. And I tell these guys, you gotta be very careful. You go to this, you go to that thing, you go to this countries and all those things. Things are different, and you look over there, you see how things are working out and all that shit, and you get the idea that, hey, it's gonna work out for me like that, because God, hey, things is changing. Things is changing now. See? But here, during this particular time, it says that, read that again.
It says, when a woman makes a vow to Adonai, formally obligating herself while she is a minor living in her father's house, then if her father has heard what she vowed or obligated herself to do and holds his peace, then all her vows remain binding.
Now, when it says that, it says that she ain't 100%, free to just do what she want to do. That's what it's telling me. It said because it had to do with what her father.
Yep.
Now that ain't true with a man. I want you to know where it's supposed to be. Hey, that ain't true with a man. But to a woman it is. See? It says that, hey, if her father don't hear it and know nothing about it, yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, if her father hears it and don't do nothing about it, then it's binding. But if he hears it, and the only way it's not binding is he, do something about it.
Well, it's all dependent on what he does about it, as to whether or not it'll stand or not. That's what I'm saying. So she is not 100% sure,
Yeah.
When I said it, naturally it's gonna be. No. We're at Numbers, the 30th chapter. Here, and he's in the 3rd verse there. So, right off the bat, God has said nothing about the man was obligated and had to worry about whether the father or somebody else will say it and all those things there. And he's locked in. Yes. Well, right. Well, if she's not under that situation, and that's why I say you have to understand the situation that you're talking about. So, but if she's not, and it's clear that I think it brings that out there, that there are situations when it is obligated to her, but you got to understand the situation that you're under, in order to get and to see what God is looking at perspective of it. And that's why so we need to understand the dealings with our God and how he is. Because that's the thing that makes the determination. So he says that if she's in the house, it is she's under his tutelage, she's under his, but she acting on her own. And hey, that's her then.
Nobody.
That's her.
Yeah.
See? She done moved out from under that headship. We're just gonna put it like it is. Did she then, but as long as she's under his authority, under that headship, she 100% independent to do what she want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That still stands for today. Basically, it's only saying that if a young person leave the house and they on their own out there, you're not obligated to what they say with God. But when they're under your gates, under your authorship of the husband, the father, then you have to be responsible for your gates.
Well, he just said here.
But what I'm saying is, that's why I said the young woman is living with her parents. See, a young woman is living. She's under the status of the father. She's under that. But nowadays, they leave and they don't want to be under your authority, and then they come back and bring your whole household too. So, but actually it's just showing you the responsibility of God and the head of the house. That's what it's actually showing. In our days, but it's the same thing. You supposed to govern your gates. That's what it's saying.
But it was treated different. A son is treated different than a daughter. And that's what I want you to see. He was allowed more independence of doing those things because you're training him to be the head. See, all this is part of the training. The lady is being trained. See? She's being trained. Because we're going to get this here. We're going to see how all this stuff flows together and how this operates and all those things here. So she got to understand the part that she's not 100% whatever she wants. See? Yeah.
It goes right back to what y'all said about Eve. Your desire shall be your husband.
We get there. We get there. We gonna get there. Some of these things didn't fit good with the ladies and all that. And even today, yeah.
You saw right, and this is the same question I was going to ask you. The statement that you made. Our children are in training, male and female. My daughter, she's about to be 13, but I teach her to be mindful of her words. But when they do get grown, she's responsible for what comes out of her mouth. Because I don't hear everything, but I do listen and pay attention to what comes out of her mouth. But I make sure that she knows to do that for herself. Because when I'm not around, ain't no telling what she's speaking. But God heard all. So when she do get away from me and not around me, she got to be mindful of that because she's held accountable. All adults are held accountable for our words and our actions.
That's what I was going to say.
And when she get married, if her husband don't hear what she speaks, she's held responsible.
Well, we're gonna see that too.
Even if he do hear.
Exactly. She's still held accountable. Absolutely.
I'm deliberately taking my time on this. And this is something that they are aware of. This is what I'm saying. They are aware of this from the get-go. They are aware of this from the training. See? They understand those things there. And he was going to go to the camera again so they can understand how the situation is. Now read on.
Says every obligation she has bound herself to withstand.
Now that's if. That's if. The father don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm. He heard it, he don't say nothing.
Right. If he hear it and says, okay, I grant her that.
Mm-hmm.
She want to do all those things there? Okay then. He don't bring no protest against it. He don't say nothing. Then it stands. See? And then now she's obligated. You see? Huh? Right.
I was going to say, it's only her between her and God of the universe.
Yeah. But those vows that she's talking about, those vows are like, she vowed something to the sanctuary, and to this and to that, to the thing that is wrong. That was saying a vow to Yah.
Yeah.
So we got to understand what she's talking about. And she's still, I'm gonna bring this one so on, and hey, they say, well, we'll see. They say, no, you ain't either. But God sees us making a vow, whether you're a woman or a man. He sees that there. Now, where's the criteria? Where is how God operates on those things? Is what we want to get the picture of. That Moshe wants them to understand that and get that light. Read on.
Okay, the 5th verse says, but if on the day her husband hears it, her father hears it, he expresses his disapproval, then none of her vows or obligations she has bound herself to withstand.
All right. Now notice this. See? Well, it's the determination of the father. Whatever the reason is. And that's what he's saying. Whatever the reason is that the father says, you don't get it, you know, but like you said, I agree with you. You said that. You know, hey, I'm gonna give $100 Rolls Royce on that. Wait a minute, you ain't got the job. How you gonna? Yeah.
You better keep your mouth closed.
Now how you gonna do that if you don't just that in Hollywood? You see the other folks doing it, you want to do it. I was great. You look at. Okay, Now, when man do that, you in trouble.
You ain't got a dub to your name.
And people do those things. Yeah.
And the other women doing it, no, they get excited. Make me one too.
But the father, he said, no. But the point of it is not, how does it look in God's eyes? That's the whole bottom line. How does it look in God's eyes? Because he done heard you say, he done heard those words come forth out from you. See? Read on.
Since then, none of her vows or obligations she had bound herself to withstand, and Adonai would forgive her because her father expressed his disapproval.
Did you get this point out? Please get this. There's a forgiveness that has to go along with that running your mouth off. Did you get that? See? He says that, hey, you run your mouth off for those things, and he says, but if the daddy, so God has given her, you know, I don't want to be on my dad's gonna tell me what I can do, I can't do. You don't understand that advantage you family, lady. No, that's an advantage. Because you got a chance to correct that. That's what you done done and everything there. So the point of it is that, and why? Because she's under the headship. See? And she's being trained that. See? Because that's going to be our end result, even in life. And the easier that we go through those things, the better it's going to be for us. Now that's the father. After she get of age, move out, get up on her own thing over there. Daddy can't come over and tell her what to do and all that. See? That's only under that situation. Now, what happens when she get married though? Start at the 10th verse there.
Okay. If a woman vowed in her husband's house, obligating herself with an oath, and her husband heard it but held his peace with her and did not express disapproval, then all her vows and obligations would stand.
Now, no, whoa, right there. Notice this. Women,
Come out to God, right?
women, understand. You don't have 100%. You don't have 100% to make vows to God. You don't have 100% independency. Maybe I put it that way. You don't have 100% independency to make vows to God. And if you do that, and it kind of go back to the example you was giving, you just saying that, just like the dad said, you know, he is, you know, he had come there, he jump up high back, and you hear somebody else crying, you know, we don't get one. We don't get so and so too. Oh! Here this guy is, he's making $30 an hour. Your husband's sitting over making $10 an hour, and you jump up there over to your mouth like you. And you ain't got this situation. You got this right. This whole thing. It's a bad situation here. Yeah.
Okay, it's understandable, like when it comes to money vows and stuff.
No, I'm just giving an example. I just give an example.
But what if it's a personal vow? A personal vow she made between her and Yah. And like she make a personal vow, you know, that she wants to fast for 2 days. If her husband wants her to eat, it's null and void.
Okay, this is the point I want you to get. Please get this, because I have not seen anything different from that. It didn't tell, we just gave this example here. I didn't say that was a reason.
Right.
I just took that example on. But it said that the father hears it and he says no. He didn't say he had to put up no reason why he said no. I ain't seen it in there. Same thing with the husband. Read that again.
Says, if a woman vowed in her husband's house or obligated herself with
She's
his oath,
married to him now, staying with him now.
Mhm. And obligated herself with an oath, and her husband heard it but held his peace with her and did not express disapproval, then all her vows and obligations will stand.
There you go, right there. It only becomes standable 100% independent if he don't say nothing.
Mhm.
But if he didn't say he had to have a special, I haven't seen that yet, but if he hold his peace and don't say anything, that's just like saying, okay, I'm going on with him. She do. I'm going on with it. That's how God look at it, you see.
I totally agree.
See? It don't say what it was. It doesn't say what the reason why he didn't go along with it. I'm pretty sure that he probably have a reason in those things there. But it's a position that I want to get. Not trying to get the criteria of things.
A lot of kids go ahead and do it anyway, even though they know.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be doing it.
But you got to understand it's the criteria of the thing.
No, I'm saying they know what the father, what he stands for, and if his answer is no, a lot of them, they'll sneak around and do it anyway.
Okay, but I want to make this clear though, and we're talking about making an obligation to Yah, not just doing frivolous things, but making an obligation between you and the father. So it's not going to be some silly frivolous kid thing that they shouldn't be doing. So if it's an obligation between you and Yah, obviously it's something of substance, usually.
Well, get a shirt with your husband. No,
You know,
that's for short change and something nothing wrong. Get a shirt with your husband. Tell your husband I'm going to make this vow here and all that stuff. Because if you understand the situation that you're in, that's what I'm saying. God is trying to make it. This is how I'm looking at it. God said, this is how I'm looking at it. You know, y'all have been around your husbands long enough. Y'all pretty well know what your husband gonna go for. Don't try to give me this stuff here now. Y'all women, y'all some smart people. And I tell guys all the time, you can't outdo them women. You can't outthink them women. They 2 steps ahead of you. Yeah.
I understand the situation. You're talking about the authority the Levitical priesthood and all of this is where it's set up. She's talking about personally under Yahshua.
Now you jump the gun here.
Why? I'm referring to now.
I'm on
See,
that
that's
same
what
page
she
with
jumping
you.
to now, so I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
Okay, that's it.
Listen for the lesson.
That's
See,
what
y'all rush it because you ain't gonna like what I got to say about that either.
hey, that's what I'm just saying.
You ain't gonna like that either.
Element. Okay? All right.
Yeah. And some of y'all already know some of the stuff that happened, that Paul talked about the other day. That you already should know that. So let's don't go there.
Okay, we won't go.
Let's don't go there. Let's don't go there. I'm trying to get you on the basis of it, get the foundation of where all this stuff come from. So you can understand that it ain't like, it depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
See? It's just like I said, you can look at the Sabbath one way or you look at it another way. You can look at the Sabbath is at the time, I can't do this, I can't do that. Or you can look at it as, hey, it's a time to get all about that. Hey,
Delight.
yeah, and it becomes a delight. Or it can be a burden to you. Ugh, I can't go out and do this, I can't draw my swan. Now, which way you look at things.
You can look at it as I can't, or you can look at it as I don't have to.
There you go.
Okay.
But when she's married, so the daddy is training her, see, because this flows on. She got to understand that when she's in the house with her, that she didn't have full 100%. Now, when she gets married, she still don't have 100%. See? And it's something going, hey, talk with him. Talk with your husband. Talk with him. You know those things here. So you know, sure that you don't get no different way about it. See? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to jump ahead just a little bit here. On the one that Paul tells us, he said, if you decide you want to go into, somebody want to go and take a fast and all that stuff, talk to your own with her. Don't just go over and go do it by yourself and all that there. He said, get that thing straight between y'all two. That's just what I'm doing. I'm going to get there and I'm going to get out of it. So don't be coming to bedrooms and doing all this shit next weekend.
Wrong time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Get an understanding between the two.
So what I'm saying is that this in a situation does not change the fact of whatever you want to switch it into and all those things. It still come by this here. You do not have 100% independency of making decisions about certain things. See,
Amen. Amen.
if you're married,
Amen.
now we're moving into a marriage now. You know. And it's because we're gonna get that there too. So why? All right. Read on.
Okay, 12th verse.
Yeah, we're gonna stop at the 15. Yeah.
Okay. But if her husband makes them null and void on the day he hears them, then whatever she says, vows are binding, will not stand.
No, understand. He said whatever she done said. He said whether it was this way or whatever. He said whatever she says. See? He can disannul it.
Mhm.
What he said? That's what I'm reading.
Mhm.
Yes.
That sounds like a confusing process because it go from a child to her father, and then if she get married, she gotta see if she get her husband approval. And if they get divorced, now who's cool with you? She mean, she all gonna be confused. Stand by her word, say what she mean and mean what she say. That's how I'm raised, and that's how I'm raised.
There's no confusion there.
If you depend on somebody else to nullify your words, when you gonna stand on your own words? You better know that. Say what you mean and mean what you say, because God heard all that. He even know it before you speak it.
What else for that?
There's a status for the widows and the divorce.
That's gonna be confusing people. Women, these women.
It's not.
They ain't gonna know what to do. So who they go?
You ain't mind for that when you out there messing with them and out there running around. That's what I'm trying to say. You need to be asking these questions ahead of time before you run out there and do what you're doing.
And go through that process, they gonna get all messed up.
That's why we need to get this thing straight and how it's supposed to run. Because I agree with you, it's messed all up. And starting with you men. Y'all terrible.
My bad. My bad. You the man.
I'm the man. You ain't nothing. Yeah. And when I get married, when I tell them that they get married, what are you talking about? These are some of the things. There's obligations that go along with this. It ain't just the fact that those things there. That's a security blanket for the woman. If she look at it that way, but if she look at it the other way, okay, then she. I say,
You gotta follow down the sequence.
it's that knucklehead man that ain't got no security blanket. And I'm gonna tell you, y'all ain't doing good. I'm gonna run like that. I'm the man, I'm the head, I'm the this and that. And you ain't leading nothing, you ain't setting no example for nothing.
See what happened was.
I know, that's about and you ain't got that leeway. You don't have that leeway. I don't want to hear it. You don't have that leeway. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. You don't have that leeway.
It ain't no what had happened was.
Right. The women have that leeway, not you. If they will look at it and see it in that light.
Amen. Amen.
But if you don't see it in that light, what I'm trying to show you
I
that,
see.
then
I see.
it's messed up and they're all confused. Yeah?
But you wrong, you're gonna do what you wanna do.
Read on. Go.
Okay. So her husband has voided them, and Adonai will forgive her.
Now, there's the thing of it. It's to get forgiveness from y'all. That's important. And if the husband make it void and all that stuff there, y'all will forgive him. Forgive her. Because she can get a chance to carry it out. See? So that's a safety net. That's a safety net. Just in case she do get into a rash, because it's easy sometimes we can get into a rash, I remember that's what they used to do in the Sunday churches, right? That's what they used to do, they get the plate around,
Get that music on.
Huh?
Get that music going.
Yeah, that teacher get up there, man, and I don't want to hear nothing, make no noise and everything. But put it in there. Put that stuff in there that don't make no sound. It don't make no sound. He'll reach in his pocket and pull out $1 bill, or he pull out a $5 bill in there. All right, you get them going in there. That'll go all day. And they rally on that. People jumped up and get all that stuff, all that. They got cut up in there. See? And so these are some of the things that it's talking about here. And it says that now there's another safety here and an obligation here for the man. Read on.
The 13th verse says, her husband may let every vow and every binding obligation stand, or he may void it.
See, he can let some stand, or he can void it. He had the last say on it. Yeah.
But to be safe, we're just gonna go ahead and void everything.
Well, if you say that then she's released from that obligation.
So then she can just run them out.
She's released from that obligation. She doesn't vow everything there, and it said, and God will forgive her. But if she go on and just change her own mind on that there, and that she don't open her mouth and then go on and say, I ain't doing that and all that stuff there. Then she can get on forgiveness there. She gotta carry that. She's obligated in. And you don't want to obligate yourself to God and don't fulfill that vow. Okay?
You end up in another country.
So, yeah.
The setup that you're doing is you're showing the head of the house is responsible for all things that happen because he's the one that's bringing in the do-re-mi. He's the one that's got success to say, no, she ain't gonna happen because he's a breadwinner. He's the bread. It's the setup that we're talking about here.
Well, whatever setup it is, and that's what I'm saying, be mindful of who you women, and that's why I tell our daughters stuff. I tell them, be mindful of who you say, I do too.
He may not necessarily be the breadwinner.
Huh?
He may not necessarily be the breadwinner.
You're right. Right.
Well, I That's it. I can
But
see
the,
it, yeah.
but the I do and what it does not change the fact of whether you're breadwinner or not.
Right, he still has the authority.
He still got the authority. That's the point I want you to see. Because this is the setup that Yah has set it up as. And that's what you got to understand and look at it and see from. And that's the point I want to do. And see it as a safety net, and not as something, you look at, hey, if I'm the honor, then I should have a right. No, it don't change that.
So if a girl's married to a bum and don't want to work or whatever, and you think, and all this here, what God is saying applies to all that, right?
Where's the shotgun? That's why I asked that. Like I asked the man, now I'm asking you, where's the shotgun?
But what I'm trying to say.
Where's the shotgun at?
What I'm trying to say is the situation is changed because the woman's gonna be in the breadwinner and he's gonna be in the hospital.
So why'd you marry the bum? Why'd you marry him?
I love him.
Understand what you get yourself
It doesn't
obligated
even
to.
always have to be about money though.
See? Right.
I can see it in the aspect of showing respect to each other. If you have, like, I would want my husband to let me know, hey, I made a vow to Yah. To me, maybe I'm looking at it more now like open communication with each other.
Y'all ain't
Having
gonna
good
get my point.
communication.
Yeah. But I'm gonna get there.
I kind of see it more like that now.
Isn't this coming from two people who believe in God? In the faith?
Thank you.
There you go.
Working like that.
And that's exactly what it is. But you got to understand, this lady here, she got her training from the get-go up. She got it under our, that's what I want you to see it. She got the training of being obligated, and notice that starting out with her daddy.
Oh, okay.
So when she transitions to her husband, ain't no problem.
Thank
It's just something she's accustomed to.
Oh,
There you go.
hey, we got it clear.
But it's this situation here when we got all this other stuff going on there, and these other things, and all these other ideas that creep in. That's where you get the problem from. That's where you get the problem from. See, but she been raised up since she's a little girl. To understand that.
And hopefully the mom is still alive and she sees
And they learn
the
how
mother's
to
examples.
They know how to treat daddies and stuff, and so it's a matter of relationship and those things here. But you got to understand where it's going to be. See? And that's what and this is what God said. Because the bottom line of it, when we open our mouth for those things here, like whether or not you're going to get forgiveness from God or not, if you don't fulfill that. See? You come up short with that. So we need to understand the seriousness of what we're doing and how we're dealing with it. That's what God will let them know. That's a serious thing, and we're going to be that there.
Because he's involved.
See? Of course.
He's involved.
Of course. That's what that whole thing of it is. See? Husband go out there and y'all ain't wrong. Y'all make all kind of decisions and stuff among yourself. That's y'all. See? But those things don't work either sometimes, That's why people wind up killing each other and all the crazy stuff, So, but this is getting an understanding from God's viewpoint of things here.
Hallelujah.
We don't. The period is going to stop right there.
Okay, this is 14.
Okay.
It says, but if her husband entirely holds his peace with her day after day, then he confirms all her vows and obligations.
Now, he can't take advantage of that situation either. He can't take advantage of his position. And I want you to get this here. And what you mean by that there? He done heard her say some stuff, and she done obligated stuff there, and she's going along real good at fulfilling that and everything there. Say a month later, he gets mad at her because she don't do something he didn't want and all that. And he gonna throw her out. Hey, you don't do something. Hey, I cut you off from like that. You can't be doing something. He can't do that.
Too late.
He can't do that. He can't misuse his headship. He can't misuse his authorship. That thing has to be. There's a certain amount of time that he hear that and all those things there, and if You don't work out it's just like you go and buy something, and you know you decided that you got a certain amount of time that you can change your mind.
What's that time frame that day?
See?
Yeah, that they inherit it.
What is the time frame?
I'll check that and see. But
You make it mention on that day.
but I know that it's not you can't wait till a month later or something like that. And you can't do those things. I'm trying to use it as a vice against her. You cannot use that as misuse that in all those things. Exactly.
But 12 do mention it says, but if her husband makes them null and void on the day he hears it.
There you go.
So maybe it's that day.
Yeah.
After that, it's too late. Sounds like.
So,
Well, I mean, she don't say it.
so there's the criteria that it kind of makes a safety zone with the woman. See? Her husband can't use that as a vice. See? He can't use that. Especially something she done vowed and everything. She likes it. She likes doing this and doing that. And she ain't made me mad now. Cut out! Yeah, you ain't gonna do that no more. You don't have to do that. No, you can't do that. You can't use that. You can't do that. See, so you gotta understand how this headship, how this things work and everything. Now, don't get those things mixed all up and get it, okay? And use it as a vice in those things. Yeah, because that's not how God intended for it to operate. He says, you hear it? So you need to be paying attention to what your wife is doing. See, my boy Adam should have been paying attention to what his wife was doing. He wasn't paying 100% attention to it.
He was captivated with what the enemy was saying too.
I don't know what on his but see, he wasn't 100% because he just said, hey, woman, you got this food for song. He didn't know where she got it from. So that's what I mean by he wasn't being 100%.
Oh. But he was there.
I don't care what he was like that. That ain't got nothing to do with it. He was not paying attention.
But what you're saying is he wasn't paying attention to but he paid attention to her.
No, he wasn't there. I'm just saying he should be paying attention
I understand.
to where she was getting that from.
I understand.
See, paying attention, there are people right here, could be right here, and they ain't paying attention. They ain't paying attention. You've been in the classroom there, in the teacher's room there, and you ain't been more paying attention to what that teacher's saying than the man in the room.
So
the present don't mean.
So he was next to his wife, but he was looking somewhere else while she busy with something. Then she took a bite of his.
He didn't like what Timothy done. So I just said to say those things there that he's got to be on guard with what his wife is doing because he's got to pay attention to what she's saying because if they're at the service and they're wherever they're at and she makes that vow and everything there and he's hearing it and he still ain't hearing it. And as it says there, and you let the time pass, what do you do? What? If I don't know you did so, well, how do you know it? I said it for everybody else.
I wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. He said that they're sleeping. You see? Yeah, now you won't pay now because she's obligated.
You should have elbowed me or something.
If you wanted to do it unfair with this deal.
When you get that position, you got to be attention to what you're doing because there's a great responsibility upon you. See? Don't take that thing. No. I had some other guy come up and tell me, Bible said the wife supposed to do so and so and so and she don't do so and so and so. And I said, well, are you doing what you supposed to do? Yeah, I'm doing what you. I said, yeah. I said, let me get you straight here. You know, what are you talking about? You doing what you're supposed to do? I'll pay some of the bills and I said, I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm saying, you want me to enact God's word, or you following God's word?
Whoa, whoa.
I said, don't come re crying about all this and talking about the woman all the time. Are you following the word? Are you setting an example? Are you getting up at 100 times supposed to go to the service, and are you leaving out the well? You sitting back there, you got the kids already and everything. Well, you go on now. I see you later. I might not. I ain't going, but you go. No, that's not being represented. See, you're not being represented. And I said, I'm not going along with that. Got mad at me. Yeah, I should know that. I said, yeah, I said, this is word. You can't take this stuff out of flight and everything here and then want to insert your little parts what you want in it and don't respect your other. He said that he sat there, where is that? And they paying no attention. And don't say nothing when that woman get upset and upset. Then 2-3 days later, it done dawned on what it done done, and now you ready to do it. Too late. Too late. He says, everything she says is behind it. You lose out on that opportunity. See? So men, be diligent. See? If only he just said, I'm going to get this food from him. He ain't paying no attention. See? That's it. Was that 15?
No,
Okay, all right.
okay, it says, then he confirms all her vows and obligations. He must let them stand because he held his peace with her on the day he heard them.
All right. That means that he held his peace. And if you don't say nothing against it and all of that, that means that he's for it. Huh?
Next verse is 15.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
If he makes them null and void after he has heard them, then he will bear the consequent guilt.
All right. See now, if he go and try to do those things there, raise Cain and do those things there and all that stuff there, then ain't gonna be no forgiveness. You know, the other says there's some forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
If he try to do those things out of son and thing there, he said he gonna have to he gonna bear the guilt.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, he gonna be in trouble with Yah. He's gonna be in trouble with Yah. If he forced those things there and forced her to have to quit doing those things and not carry forth, he done left the wings of forgiveness and now his guilt, and then God going to enact his wrath upon him. See, therefore. There's a strict obligation to be in Jehovah. I'm the man. I'm the head. I'm the this. Hey, you know, I understand what you're saying when you do those things, because that's how God's looking at it. See? Now, we want to go now to 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter of Corinthians. We all like to jump ahead. We all like to talk about what's going on in the New Testament time, and after the shot and those things there, and see how these things change and those things here. And so we want to see what it has to say here in 1 Corinthians And you just gonna read the second and third verse.
What chapter?
1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter.
What verse you said?
Second and third.
Thank you.
Now I praise you because you have remembered everything I told you and observed the traditions just the way I passed them on to you.
Notice he's had mentioned about traditions here. So now he's getting to understanding of how things are going and how things are being set up and those things there and how these things come about. That how we do what we do and how those things are actuated out. And this is how we're going to come to these conclusions of things.
So
And he said, I praise you for those things that you're learning and y'all are getting ready to follow through on those things. Yeah.
now, what traditions was it that he passed on?
See? Well, we're going to get to some of those things. See? We'll follow what he's saying here. Read on.
But I want you to understand. See, I want you to understand that the head of every man is the Messiah.
All right, now he said, I'm gonna lay out to you how things are set up. You know, got nothing to do with what you think and all. How you gonna just how the setup is laid out. Yeah, change the command or how the authority rolls. See. See, and it's got to operate that way there. Yeah. Read on.
And the head of a wife is her husband.
All right, now I go back to what I was telling you about that. He said the head of the wife, see, is her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was telling you about over what he said there. This was after Mashiach that died and gone back. He's still teaching folks. It's the same thing that it was when Moshe was teaching about the man being the head. Ain't changed. It's still the same. So ladies, marry you somebody that you don't mind being the head. If you don't think you want to be the head, say I don't. Not I do. And that's why I asked where the shotgun at. And I asked guys the same thing, but they call a woman all kind of names and talk, do all that kind of stuff. I said, yeah, what you doing, man? Somebody like that. They had to have a shotgun for you. They had to have something to make. So we got to understand some things here, folks, here, and how those things are, and what we're getting accepted. So he laid it out to them because he's dealing with a problem that has erupted amongst the Corinthians. And he's addressing some things that is taking place here. And he said, let's get this thing straight here. I want you to understand how the authority, the headship, and how this thing rolls. How this whole thing rolls. See, so you get this picture, because it's going to be very important as to understanding how I'm doing those things here. See? And so read that again.
Because
The third verse.
but I want you to understand that the head of every man is the Messiah.
All right, the head of every man. And that's what I was saying when I told you this guy come telling me and throwing up all the stuff that the Bible said. Then I asked him, he said, "How your head?" First of all, are you in line? Are you in line with the Bible is saying for me to want to line up your wife? See? Are you in line? And so that's what he was saying here. He said, let's get this thing straight. See? This thing don't work out of perspective and don't. I understand that the man has a head too. See? He has a head. He incites something a little bit different in there, and a little bit. He said the man has a head. See? He has an obligation. Not only is that, but he would let you know that even the Mashiach has a head. So everything operates on that. Only God is what don't have no head.
Right.
Are we following? Are we following this here?
Yeah.
Everything operates on it, you know. So why would we let the enemy? Why would we let the enemy make us feel bad? Because I say that your husband is your head. Why would you get upset about those things there? Oh, no, kick against it, get all that, and then turn around. Hey, husband, you got a head too. And that means that that head means that you're subject unto something. You ain't just out there just put whatever you want to do on your own and all that. No, there's a criteria for that too. See? And that's what he introduced here. And so he would let me read the third verse there again.
But I want you to understand that the head of every man is the Messiah,
All right.
and the head of a wife is her husband, and the head of the Messiah is God.
All right. So none of us should be upset. None of us should get mad, and because of the point that we find that we are under the headship of somebody else. See? Because God is fair in how he deals those things there. And that's what he's saying here. But if we get these things all mixed all up, and we get these things not seeing in the right perspective, then you got troubles. Okay? I ain't no man. Hey, you working against the whole system of things. And I don't care how you want it, you are the one that's messing up. Because if you go against the system and the way it's set up, you're in trouble. See? Just like the guy, when he jumped up and he let them days pass and everything, and he ain't said nothing, all of a sudden it dawned on him, or he got mad at his wife, then he gonna clap off, shut off and everything. No, it ain't gonna work like the way before that. You got forgiveness and all that. You want to suffer the consequences now. Okay? Because you don't operate that way. But somehow we always find some things that creates a problem. And we always gonna look at things in a little bit different light here. So he starts out right there. And now, read the fourth verse.
Every man who prays or prophesies wearing something down over his head brings shame to his head.
All right, no. What in the world could you be talking about? Now, the Christian world and most of the Western world, they tell you that's talking about a hat. Or that's anything on your head. They got the idea that if you put anything on your head, you ain't supposed to do that.
Right.
Okay? Well, is that really what Paul was talking about? Understand that Paul was dealing with a situation here. See? And if you don't understand what he's talking about, and you don't understand those things there, first of all, if you understand, and that's why I'm going to go, he always refers back. A lot of the things that he said, he referred back to the Torah, because that's one of the things that was existing. There was no such thing as the New Testament.
Amen. Amen.
You could have hollered, what did the New Testament have to say? There was no New Testament then.
Right.
There was no New Testament then. So everything that he goes back and on, he has a reference back to that. So what possibly could he be talking about when he said those things here? See? Well, let us, first of all, take this mistranslation, because this is what I found out in all those things there, that there is a mistranslation in what that scripture says, what they have interpreted in those things there. And instead of that being head covered, it should be hanging down over the head.
Wouldn't that represent mourning?
Say,
Veil? Don't they do that when they're mourning?
It says so. Write it down.
I know this here,
This one does.
yeah, this here does.
Oh, this one.
But I'm talking about the rest of them that don't do
Oh,
it.
okay, I
You read King James Version, you read a
Oh,
lot. I got one that got different ones, and they translated, and they just got head covered. And they think that that's talking about they ain't gonna have nothing on you. You know, you ain't gonna have nothing on you.
got it. Say it's Western style.
And right, and well, and they say it brings shame to your head. See, well, we see that we say that the head of man is the Mashiach. How that bring shame to Mashiach? How did that bring shame to God, who is the same as as Mashiach because the line goes on. Well, let's see what God had to say about a man having something on his head. See? And they really say that. I had one guy come to me and talk about, well, that's talking about when you're praying, and that's when he's doing those things and all that. He should have nothing on his head. He should have his head bald. He should have, as you know, and y'all wrong for having the kippah and on your head. Yeah, and he said y'all wrong for doing that thing, and y'all going against what the scripture says there.
Is this still some of the tradition that Paul is talking about?
He's got to bring some of this in, he's got to bring some of this in to let them understand that where these points and where these things come from.
Let's explain this to the Corinthians.
See, yeah, he's coming to the Corinthians. That's what he's dealing with. Okay? Because there was a problem that was existing there that he had to deal with. See? All right, now, but first of all, we got to understand what it means when he says that the head covered brings shame. Is that really true? It's what they say, and those things, is that true? When they say, you take your hat off, you take this off, you do those things there. Well, let's go to the scriptures and see what the scriptures had to say about that. Let's go to Leviticus 16. I want us to follow Leviticus 16. We're going to start reading the second verse there. Of Leviticus 16.
Says, Adonai said to Moshe, tell your brother Aaron not to come at just any time into the holy place beyond the curtain.
Now, notice this. If I'm not mistaken, one of the most religious and most holy and which of days and everything that when everybody praying, everybody giving God is on this particular day here when he goes to the holies of holies. See? Now, if you just praying and all that, then you'll need your head uncovered. You certainly should have it uncovered now. You can't get no more holy and worshiping God on this day here. Right?
Right.
Because read on, let's show you how serious this was here. I told you keep coming in anytime. This show was a special time.
In front of the ark cover which is on the ark, so that he will not die, because I appear in the cloud over the ark cover.
Notice, he said if he coming there and ain't got stuff qualified, it just means you're going to die. You think you're going to go in there in front of him, being a shame unto him, bringing a shame and a disgrace to him, and you going to live? You say, well, where you get that there? How you know? Well, let's read on.
Here's how Aaron is to enter the holy
He said, here's how you to enter in.
With a young bull as a sin offering.
Better come up with some, better come up with some blood. Stop. Read on.
And a ram as a burnt offering. He is to put on the holy linen tunic.
Oh, got to put on his tunic now. You can't can't come in that dress any way you want to. I just come on here, I like it. No, you know, no. It's certain ways you gotta come dressed. See? It's a matter of following rules and regulations. It's a matter of doing what God asked you to do. I don't feel like I want to put on all that stuff. No, I don't care what you feel like and all that. If you drag you out there. If you drag you out there.
He told you that, he told you you're gonna fall dead.
Yeah. So he wasn't playing. Read on.
Have the linen shorts next to his bare flesh.
Have the linen shorts on.
Have the linen sash around his waist, wrapped around his hem. And
Okay.
be wearing the linen turban.
Turban. Check that out. That's a head covering. Having his head covered. But you won't believe what these folks say and go out with your head bald. I don't see no disgrace. I don't see where it says disgrace God. And God would disgrace with that and get like that. Uh-huh. Yeah. He went in there and boop. He ain't moving. Tell that rope a little bit to see where it is. Nope, it ain't. Okay. He said he had to have that turban on. So this whole thing saying that you can have nothing on your head when you go in there to worship or when you go there to pray and when you go in there to prophesy, that was not what Paul was talking about. Ain't no one in the world he could have been talking about that. But that's how when they translate those things wrong and when they get those things there, instead of them translated the way and send it off on exact way, this is why you get things all mixed all up. And then when you get these cultures messed all up, you're looking for the Western, from the Eastern, and when you get it, and that's why when people read the Bible and all that, and they try to go from the well, we do it over here, and so what? That's not, you know, it don't operate like that. Yeah. See? But look it up. Look up the Strong's. Look up those things, and you will find that that should have been translated in all when it said that falling down, hanging down, and it even tells you what it's referring to. It's referring to a veil. See? So we see, and they say, well, he just only said that when you're praying and all those things there and all like that. Hey, I guarantee you that according he was praying and all like that. And when that holy of holy, because that was a serious time. Huh? Yeah. Not only was he praying, but a whole lot of other folks were praying too, because they wanted to get that thing straight. That was a serious time for the whole house of Israel. As a matter of fact, he just said that was the quietest they've ever been. You know why they were so quiet?
Make sure they didn't hear.
Yeah, right. There you go. A part of that garment that he had on it had some bells on there, and that was and when he went in there, he made certain steps, you know what I'm saying? That was part of his doing too, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was to reassure people back there, I'm all right. Yeah, everything. And so everybody was back. Put that thing up. He said, because we want to hear, make sure we hear the bells going. Because, hey, our whole year, our whole life is at stake here.
We don't want to hear.
I'm one man.
Yes.
One man.
Yeah.
The whole nation was depending on that.
And how he had to come in here? He said, you should come in here the way you want to. He said, when you come in here, you better have all them garments on. And that turban on his head.
Let's see that.
So this whole stuff about they teach you now and all that, you got to uncover your head and you got all that. That's not what Paul was talking. Paul did not teach against the Torah.
Amen. That's all he had.
That was it. Now, but he did say some things there. See? Now, I want you to go to Leviticus 10. Go to Leviticus 10. Because I think there's somebody that mentioned something about the death and about mourning and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to Leviticus 10. And you also start reading the 6th and 7th verse there.
It says, then Moshe told Aaron and his sons Eleazar and Ithamar, don't unbind your hair or tear your clothes in mourning.
All right. Now that unbinding is another way of saying, don't take that turban off. Don't unbinding means that uncover your hair. No. And that means to take off what you got on your head. Let's cover that up. He said, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know who these people that died. Who was those that had died? His sons.
High priest.
The high priest, the Kohen Haggadah.
Mm-hmm.
The bringer. Not only that, but he was the top bringer.
That's right.
His main man. God told him, don't you take off your hair. Don't you take off your hat. Don't you take off your coverage. So, Paul could have been referring to that there. God was telling him I want you to be dishonorable to me. I want you to be a disgust to me. I want you to be ashamed of me. No. As a matter of fact, it's just opposite of that. He said, I know it's a time of mourning. And I know it's a time when y'all want, you feeling bad and everything, and you want to do this and that. He said, don't do it. He said, because I'm going to be glorified by what's going on. Mm-hmm. And you want to prove who's your boss. You want to prove who your head is. That hat that he had on showed that he was under the subjugation of another head. That means that he had somebody over him. Just like the married woman, when she has her, when she moves up, she's showing that she's under the subject. She has another head. She's under the headship of someone else. She ain't in full control. Neither is a man in full control. And God just told him if you ain't in full control. What did God tell him to let him know you ain't in full control? But you just got the read right there. He said, don't you come in here anytime you want to. Now, if they ain't telling, if they ain't saying and let you know who's the boss and let you know that you ain't the head, that you got a head, you got somebody over you. He said, don't you come in here anytime you want to. And not only when you do come in here, you got to come in here with this on. Not only but displaying that you got a head. That you got somebody over you. Just totally opposite from the ideas that these thoughts that these people got here and teaching. Just opposite of that. And he just says that if you don't do it, it's just your life is at stake. That's all.
That's how serious it is.
Yeah, that's how serious it is.
Yeah.
Well,
You come in there waltzing anytime you want to, just anytime you want to. Boom. So we have to understand that. You understand? See? I'm not my own boss. Hey, I got a head over us. I got a head over me. See? And can do just whatever you want to do in all those things. See? And you can have, Mashiach showed that. When he went to the Father 3 times. He went to the Father 3 times. See? Now, but you know, who you want to hold over, so we'll do that, yeah. See? Now, go to Leviticus 21. We'll just leave that alone for it. We'll leave that there. Because that's just another one, a reaffirming fact that God intended for the Levites and all those things there to wear their head, have a covering over their head.
Okay.
When they came to worship Him, when they came to do things right, you know. So it should be. Or it could have been saying that there, hey. That certainly was not true. But I had one guy who was a small boy. I told him how to deal with in this thing. How to deal with when people come in and they talk to you about it. I laugh at them because they think you come with something that I had all these ideas too because I was taught that other stuff too. He says, "Hey, that was for the high priest." I said, "You making my point." I said, "You making my point." I said, when he said that when he's praying and doing those things there, he should have. I said, now you turn around, you know. I said, you know. But I want you to go to 2 Samuel, the 15th chapter. I start reading the 30th verse. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
David continued up the road to, is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
David continued up the road to the Mount of Olives, weeping as he went up, head covered and barefoot.
Whoa! Whoa! He was heading up to the Mount of Olives.
Mm-hmm.
See? And David wasn't no priest, right? He from the tribe of Judah.
He's king.
But Purchase told me that God was supposed to Levites supposed to have that on, you know. I said, right, this is David here. He's from the tribe of Judah. Yeah, that's it. See? And he was headed up to there. Well, that's just right. Read on.
And all the people with him had their heads covered.
Oh, what? All the other people that was with him too. It wasn't just David. It was all the other people with him. They all had their heads covered. Boy, boy, this shame of God. Boy, according to what they're saying. He said, well, y'all just talking about anytime. Well, let's see why they were going and what they were going to do. Read on.
And wept as they went up. One of them told David, and Haftorah is among the conspirators with Absalom. David said, Adonai, please turn Ahithophel's advice into foolishness. Then David reached the top of the ancient, where it was customary to worship God.
There you go. He was going up there to do some worshiping. And how was his head? And how was all them that with him head? All right then. So it just wasn't just talking about the priesthood. It just wasn't just talking about that. They was going up there to worship. They wasn't just going up there. Well, I think it's a nice climb. I think it's time to do a nice climb up. I feel like going up on. No. So this whole stuff talking about those things, can I be talking? That was not what he was talking about. See? So you're not following those things there. You're not doing those things there. See? So these people, and they was worship. They was going up there to worship. See? They're gonna go up there and make a fool of themselves. No. Because that was not a shame. That was not a shame for me to do those things. Then Paul had been talking about something. Now let's go back to Corinthians 11 chapter. Go back to 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. We're gonna follow them down. We're gonna get this wrapped up for the day. First Corinthians 11 chapter. Starting at the fifth verse there.
But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head unveiled brings shame to her head. There is no difference between her and a woman who has had her head shaved. For if a woman is not veiled, let her also have her hair cut short. But if it is shameful for a woman to wear her hair cut short or to have her head shaved, then let her be veiled.
All right, let her be veiled.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. Please get this. Let her be veiled.
Mm-hmm.
See? The others translate that just as being covered.
Mm-hmm.
And they go back to that, but that ain't what he was talking about. That's what he was talking about. He was talking about the fact that you're wearing a veil. And now he said, I'm gonna take you to another aspect to show you how God is working in this area, and God has the intent. See? And but people jump all the way to the conclusion. He says that the woman, see, she has things different for her than it is for the man. The authority and all runs different for man. And it was God's setup is one that put it that way. The length of the hair, he said, for a reason. Why was the lady that had the long hair and those things there, and why was she given those things there? Yeah, it was God that set those things up. And he read on and tell us why.
For a man indeed should not have his head veiled, because he is the image and glory of God. And the woman is the glory of man. For man was not made from woman, but woman from man. And indeed, man was not created for the sake of woman, but woman for the sake of man.
Now, what he's talking about here is he's going back to the authority and he's going back to showing for the situation again. And that's why I said the criteria and all that there had to do with how the father exacted headship over the woman or over his daughter. And once she bypassed that there, then he no longer had the headship over her. But if she was under him and in his house and those things there, at a certain age and those things there, she had to be under his tutorship and those things there. So he's saying, let's go back from the beginning. Let's go back at the beginning of things there. It was only Adam. She came after that. See? And she came, see, for a purpose. See? And that purpose was to be an aid. See? God had concluded it was not good for men to be alone. See? So she was to be a companionship in those things there. And she was to be Paul is trying to, and then he goes on, read on.
The reason a woman should show by the reason a woman should show by veiling her head that she is under authority has to do with angels. Nevertheless,
Whoa, let's stop right there. What in the world that mean when he's telling? What in the world he possibly talking about these? See? How did that authority get shifted there? Do you know that Satan is an angel? A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Satan's an angel.
Mm-hmm.
And she lost some of her authority and some of that because of that. After that, what happened there? He said, your desire shall be to him, and he shall bear rule over you. That's what the scripture says. And I don't think, I know what you think. I don't care what I think. That's what he said here. I haven't seen where to change that either. But that was part of the curse. Now, in the book of Revelation, it tells us there's going to come a time when there'll be no more curse. And then I think that's when that will change. But until longer we got the curses here, that still revives, that still prevails too. People are, well, it says about the pain too. That I didn't have no pain out of here because we got blocked up, we got shot up, we got
It worked, though.
Right.
That's all we care about at the moment, it works.
Huh?
I said, that's all we care about at the moment. If you have something that can help alleviate some of that pain, hey.
I'm not, but the point of it is, it still does not take on what God is here. You have did some added stuff to it to change that. But it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's still there.
Let that stuff wear off.
Huh?
Let that stuff wear off.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's a tough thing there, you know. So that has not changed there. And that's what Paul was telling him. He says, her hair. Then he goes on down and tells you what's so special about her hair. See? You read that to her. Let's give to her. Yeah.
which verse you get? Just keep reading.
Right.
So it's 11th verse. Nevertheless, in union with Yah, neither is the woman independent of man, nor is man independent of woman. For as the woman was made from man, so also man is now born through the woman. But everything is from God.
Now notice this. He said that just because things have changed now, what had changed? At first, and I asked people, I said, who was the first pregnant person?
Mm-hmm.
I asked that question.
Adam.
And it was Adam.
You weren't pregnant?
First one had surgery.
Wasn't pregnant.
He was
Had a C-section.
No.
But see, but when
She was within him, just as when a woman becomes pregnant, her child is within her. She was within him.
So she came out a full-grown woman out of his womb. Adam had a womb.
But when you use the word pregnant, you think about he was sticking out.
And that's why I'm explaining what I'm talking about. She was within him. Because when he made her first, he made her both, she and him, and she was within him.
Yeah.
He had a C-section.
In his DNA.
We just using our terminology. If you using those words.
She was a clone.
Right,
She was
DNA.
more of a clone than a
Yeah,
pregnant.
DNA.
See?
C-section is specifically for taking, cutting the stomach to take out a baby. So he just had surgery, like David said.
If we have any contest about that,
It's okay.
Anyway.
You don't like my terminology?
Right, because that's
okay,
your
I don't care. I'll back off of that.
Okay.
What about the word impregnated?
See?
The only reason I have a problem with that is because that's the controversy was going on today with the
Oh, yes.
transgenders and who can have babies and what's a woman and what's a man.
Yes, please.
So when we use these terminologies, using pregnancy when you're using it attached to a man, then it's kind of pick your ears up a little bit.
Well, but the truth is, what he was talking about, I'm just going by what Paul was saying. Paul was reminding us that the woman came from the man, not the other way around. And you can't change that. And it's all God's doing.
Correct.
And that's all I'm. Now this stuff that they come out now, just like I'm saying now, they go up there and block y'all up, shoot all of that. They go and have a whole complete operation on the guy and stuff like that. Come in and say that's how. No, that don't fit.
It's DNA.
That don't fit. See?
But the whole thing it says that he took the real and clothes with flesh up.
Yeah.
So whatever that is, that's what he did.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way here. I ain't gonna call it a C-section. I call it an operation.
All right, that's what you said, surgery.
Hey, I'm not saying nothing.
And we all know from science today that within your bone marrow, you can take those cells out of that bone marrow and actually clone.
Yeah, but when you clone, but
acid,
Here's
what I want to like. My understanding, when you clone, you produce the same thing.
Right.
It was another man.
Right. That's right.
It was another female.
No. Human DNA can make either. Think about it now. A man's sperm can make either a girl or a boy. It's about the genetics. Now, of course, I ain't no geneticist. I ain't no expert. But no, it's the point that everybody's DNA has the possibility of making a male or a female.
Well, let me get it more finite.
You know what I mean?
It said that when God first made man, he created them both male and female.
Humankind,
See,
as in humankind.
right.
Yeah. That's what I think it's
She was within him.
humankind.
She was within him.
He made human.
They were there, and
He was in there doing
he chose the time to separate them out.
I agree.
He done. And then Paul comes on and said, now it's the woman that you're carrying now instead of the man. That's all I'm saying. That's what he was talking about in the scripture when he said, read that again. I'm just explaining. I want you to see the midrash that he was going through and bring it around.
Nevertheless, in union with Yah, neither is woman independent of man.
Right.
Nor man independent of woman. For the woman was made from man. So also man is now born through the woman.
There you go. But the authority, the situation that is still how God has set it up.
Yep. So, but everything is from God.
Mm-hmm. But everything is from God. And so that's how we got to do. We got to lead the thing in the way that, in the criteria and the prospect, the way that God has set those things up.
Amen.
And that's why I go back and I was showing you that this whole idea of wearing something and don't have nothing on your head and all that stuff there, that didn't come from God. That was not what Paul was talking about. Okay? Somebody else had that idea. Somebody else thought that there was a mistranslation, there was a misunderstanding of what he was talking about there. And so he went through all this time to try to explain to them. And then he goes along with the hair. He said, hey, even nature tell you this here. Read on.
Says, decide for yourselves, is it appropriate for a woman to pray to God when she is unveiled? Does the nature of things itself teach you that a man who wears his hair long disgrades himself?
Now, he come along with something else here. He said, now, if a man wear long hair and everything, he disgraces her. How that so? See?
long as it's not a Mennonite.
How
Who's
that's so?
Simpson? Who's Simpson's people?
You talking about one that's, about, named
Yeah, what is his name?
Nazarite. Nazarite.
Nazarite, thank you.
Nazarite.
Read on.
Says, 15 says, but a woman who wears her hair long enhances her appearance, because her hair has been given to her as a covering.
All right, and another word for that is her glory. Have you ever heard that the woman that? See? It's for her glory. See, it's to make her distinct. It is to make her different from the man. See? Man was not given that long, flowing hair like the woman. See? Man was given the more shorter hair. See? But I want you to understand something. If we take and that's why I mistranslate, if we take the translation the way it is now, and people take the hat off and then you let the bald head on, both of them had hair. Paul didn't say that the man didn't have no hair. See? So he just wasn't talking about that as being the covering or the uncovering. Because if that was the case, that would mean that the men would have no hair at all. He would just let us know that there is still a distinct difference between the man and, because that was the problem that he was having there. What he was having there among the Corinthians, dear folks, they had misapplied and misunderstood the scripture when Paul was telling them, in the Mashiach, there's neither female, there's neither male nor female.
Sound like nowadays.
But they're all the same. And he would let them know, that ain't true.
Sound like nowadays.
That ain't true. That ain't what we was talking about. When we say that, we're all the same. That only had to do with the opportunity, because during that particular time, they did not have the ladies to have the same opportunity as the man had. And even there are some Jewish places come on, they still have it that way. They have a separate place altogether for them than for the men. But when the Mashiach comes, he said, they want to get her and let her go and all that stuff, and she's not. She made the best choice. She can stay here. That's what that was. And so they had guys coming in there wearing veils and stuff. You could tell the difference between male and female. You got people guys run around there, run the hair, let your hair running, looking at stuff. You don't know whether you're looking at a female. From the backside, you don't know whether you're looking at a male or female till they turn the face around and oh man.
Mhm.
I know, and that's not what God wants.
Nothing new under the sun.
That's not what he intended for to do. So he was using all these different midrashes, showing about the head, about their authority, and about the difference for them to understand those things here. And it all comes down to the point of it is, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
But what is the man? What he trying to be a woman?
And so the man is not, he said that he ain't gonna have his hair long, flowing, running all down his back and all down. And I think about this here, that Michelangelo picture that they have of Mashiach.
Oh, yeah, the long stripe.
That shows a misrepresentation.
Shoulder length.
Yeah,
He looks so effeminate.
right.
Because it's after a real man, right? What's that man's name? Chris Costa. Remember they made his picture after a real man.
Yeah, right. And they didn't like it. And it was short hair, right, it was not. Yeah, right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I call it Michael, right.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
Bargia.
Okay, that's what it is.
So dear folks, don't go by that there and all that stuff there and you run around and something. That is not true.
Can I tell them about the bells and wearing bells?
Huh?
Can I tell them about
Yeah, please do.
Okay, in Corinthians, they had a lot of, goddess temples to female gods. So when someone went to the temple, you know, they paid tithes or whatever, what they would do was have sex with the person, male or female, and that's when they paid, that's how they paid their tithes. That's why the men were running around wearing veils, doing homosexuals. Oh, no. Oh, yes.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they had temple whores all day long.
Yes, yeah, right.
Yeah, they definitely had temple whores all day long.
Hey, now, you know, good him well.
That's what I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna just keep it.
What? That was incorrect.
And that was the thing that was, there was a lot of people going. There's one place in the Bible, it said that Paul said, y'all do some stuff in there we never heard. It is what
Unthinkable acts.
Huh?
Unthinkable acts.
Yeah, right.
And the same thing goes on nowadays.
Huh?
And the same thing go on now.
And the same thing going on right
Come
now.
up with some crazy stuff.
So people got to understand that the Corinthians was not.
Yeah, I guess.
Like born folks, we got knuckleheads saying, talking, they were Gentiles. They had a lot of that, as he said. They did a lot of things that they simply said to Paul to tell you can't do that. See? But if what they're saying is true about the fact that you shouldn't have nothing on your head and all of it, it doesn't fit. It completely knocks out the midrash that he was talking about the hair lengths. He didn't say the guy was bald and the woman had the hair. He said they both had hair, right?
Right.
So that has to go with the covering. So what was wrong with the covering versus what the woman was doing? They were saying that they're doing the same thing, veiling. Both of them was wearing veils. And Paul said, that's what's wrong. Which goes back to the basic of Torah teaching. Go to Deuteronomy 22. And we're going to get wrapped up for today. We're going to get this wrapped up for today. Ready? 22. And start and your first.
A woman is not to wear men's clothing,
Uh-oh!
and a man is not to put on women's clothing.
Dang it! Stop right there. That's where the shame came in. That's what we're talking about in the fourth, when he said what Paul was talking about. You coming in here with your veil and all that stuff, you're ashamed in the head. You ain't no female. You're a male. You ain't gonna come in here with no veil on. Hanging all down here and all, something hanging down. You ain't gonna, God has made a distinction between those. Just as he made a distinction between the hair length. For a woman coming in with long flowing hair and all those things there, it's different than for a man to have that. But even in those days, they don't put a contest in there, and they protested against that there too. I mean, you know, but how long is long and how, I mean, Paul just had to say, hey, you know, if nature don't teach you that, then I don't know what to say. Y'all just some terrible folks. Read it there, you'll see what he said. Then he want to start talking about some other stuff. He said, if all this stuff that I'm about you don't get over to you, then hey, you know, you're going, but It was not talking about men wearing a kippah. That's what I'm gonna be with. We're not talking about us wearing what we wear. We ain't gotta go around here being bald and all that and so on. No, that's not what it's talking about. Okay? You're not doing wrong by doing this. You're not doing wrong, you know, to have to pray and to prophesy and to teach with your keep on. You're not doing wrong. Okay? As a matter of fact, you're following more of what the bringing ears was told to do, or you die. Deuteronomy 22:5 is the basis of what he's talking about here. And read that again.
A woman is not to wear men's clothing, and a man is not to put on women's clothing. For whoever does these things is detestable to Adonai your God.
That's where the shame come in. That's what
Right.
the degrading.
A man trying to act like a woman.
Yeah.
Trying to act like a woman.
And God knew it. God knew this was going to happen in these days here. That's why He's trying to get us ahead. That's why He's trying to tell us way back then, get us all lined up in here, because they're gonna come with all kinds of stuff they're doing.
No cross dressing.
Yeah, right. No cross dressing, drag queens, whatever.
They think they doing something new. No, you're not. Ain't nothing
There you go.
under the sun, but nothing new.
They brain telling them.
Paul said, "Woo, these Corinthians do some stuff. Woo."
Put them with a bunch of women.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. They go back to the natural way.
Ain't never come to our mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let Paul come to nowadays and see America. He'll really be blown away.
Blown away. He probably mess around, have a heart attack. With him.
So you
Think-
understand.
Think he in a different world.
You
Stroke
get
out.
that knowledge back. And this is
Mhm.
your-
I don't know. Planet.
But understand, it all goes back to the headship, you know. So, do what God said do, follow those things there, and that it might be well with us on that end there.
He may not even leave the house.
We go back to,
Mhm.
we're gonna go back to, Numbers, the 30th chapter, and get this wrapped up for today. Get this wrapped up for today. Ladies, stay out of the men stuff. Men, stay out of the ladies stuff.
All right. Man, stay out of Victoria's Secret.
And-
They do have me in cologne.
Huh?
They do have me in cologne.
But you better order it online.
As a matter of fact, I had the apostle, you know, we got into an argument one time about that, you know, because and he was so pissed about the fact that pants. What was your mind? What was your
And
mind?
we didn't wear them too, good. We didn't wear them.
Oh, what's your mind? Then, so he said, well, what you think about it? I said, I ain't quite as
Dogmatic.
dogmatic and just closed-minded completely like that. He said, I ain't no such thing as women pants and all that. There ain't no such thing as that.
Somebody show
Pants and
different.
pants and all. I said, no. I said, the one time I kind of thought, I said, no, that ain't true. I said, yeah, I said, there's some pants that I seen, there ain't no other way I'd be caught wearing them there.
Women zippers on the side.
All right.
Well, they used to make them in the back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I said, I can't see myself, you know, but now I agree with some of the stuff that he called women, that's not right.
But, yeah.
I said, but, I said, there's some of it, you know, that, hey, it sure is convenient for a man. See, and at the time, like you said, they had it in the back and all that, and you always try to rustle and grind and that, you know, something, and I said, no. I said, I ain't gonna what I'll be wearing. I said, there's some pants they got out there, you know, I ain't gonna be caught dead in them pants. I said, so if the woman wanna go and sit around, I said, I'm sitting wrong with her. I said, I'm not wearing it. See? So, you have to he'll wait till our criteria on certain things. Yeah. But I agree with him. There are some that they call women pants so that they show look a whole lot like me. And I say they don't fit me. See, y'all ain't no girl. And all that is just to sell what they want and all that. They don't want to make no special.
Real quick, I because I had a debate about this not too long ago with a friend of mine, and I ain't gonna say his name, but with a friend of mine, and they went to the scripture. They said that I said, well, how do you know about that pants belong to men? Because I looked it up, and when pants was invented, and all that, I said, so in biblical times, they wore robes.
Oh yeah, right.
They wore dress. It looked like dresses.
Skirt, right.
So what then? Then they took me to a verse that you read today about the linen undergarments that the high priest wear, and said, see right there, that's pants right there. No, that's not more like underwear. That's more like underwear. So it says to cover the groin.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's underwear.
That's underwear.
I said, that's not pants, that's underwear.
Right,
When
right.
you shouldn't wear underwear now. And I'm like, it's not in the Bible about, per se about pants or whatever. It's saying that for your time, what is deemed to be for a woman, that's what a woman should wear. Was deemed for a man, because through time, fashion changed.
Yeah.
Like with Ella Mack in his day, it was more so prominent that a woman should not wear pants. You know what I'm saying? But times change. So
The point
if they
is,
say this is for a woman, then that's what it's for.
the point is, women's bodies are shaped differently than men.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Yeah.
You have pants made for them. You're gonna have pants made
There
for.
are certain aspects of things that is applied, strictly for the woman, and that's what Paul will let you know. And there's in the scripture that, in those things there, and this is the aspect that you have to do. So when you go back to Corinthians 11 chapter and read those things there, if you look at it like for the Western view of things, you're gonna get the wrong interpretation. You're gonna get the wrong instructions of it. You look at it from the Eastern, from my Israel here, and where I just got to tell you, then we get the right perspective of it. And they messed all up, Now, people come in here, they don't want to put nothing on their head, and they let you do them wrong things, because you're asking them to do those things here and all that. And I tell them, hey, we're not trying to display the other stuff. See? We're trying to get you informed that our heritage, from our perspective of things, that is lined up with what God has said. So just as I tell a woman, women get this bad attitude, and some of them, they just disdain the fact that ain't none of my head. Nobody's gonna be false me telling me like, hey, that's not what the scripture says. Now, whether we like it or not, that's just the way it is. And so that's why I come on this one, and that's why I changed it. And I told them, I said, hey, look, I told our young girls, marry you somebody that you don't mind, but don't go away from God's. Don't get the attitude against God's setup, because He's the one that set this thing up. And if you get an attitude back like that and everything, you're gonna be working against God. So marry you a guy that you don't mind being subject to. You don't mind him being your head. I said, you got that criteria. Ain't that what don't they still do that there? The guy says, will you marry me?
Not necessarily, because you got girls now saying, will you marry me?
That's why I asked the question. I said,
that ain't necessarily true.
But it's still the most popular.
I say, did she get that criteria? See, let guys go. I was saying, I know
It's still rolling.
Very popular.
Right.
But
But the guy can, and she can
It's
say,
declining.
I don't. Or she can say, no, I didn't marry you. See? And that's still recognized. So, ladies, I do the same thing now. Me, I tell you the same thing. You got a woman that doesn't want to run around. Why don't you get married to her? Because you're gonna have some problems there.
she was pregnant.
Huh?
She was pregnant. What's
Well, I can't argue with you on that.
She was pregnant.
I can't argue with you on that. But only that one lasts for a while. All right. Oh yeah, Numbers 30:16. You can see what Moshe concluded, and this is what I'm concluding, the same thing.
Okay, it says, these are the laws which Adonai ordered Moshe between a man and his wife.
Who ordered this?
Yeah.
According to what Moshe said,
The Lord gave it.
yes.
Yeah,
He just ordered most.
yeah. These are the laws which Adonai ordered
Yeah, Adonai ordered them.
Moshe between a man and his wife, and between a father and his daughter, if she is a minor living in her father's house.
There you go.
For minor.
So at what age are you no longer considered a minor?
Well,
Is it according to the biblical expression of a woman?
13, 12, 13, 14.
Administration is what I'm asking.
right. She right now it was they got now is 13 years old. And they said if you among the Jewish, you become. He become an adult, the guy comes, we need bar mitzvah, and she's bat mitzvah,
That mitzvah.
12 and a half, right, and it's supposed to be coming up on adult age.
That's what females.
And this still given by the family. This still given by the dad, of the house, but, we would say here, I guess we say here in America, it's 18.
But with her bat mitzvah, is that when they consider her to be? a woman?
Yeah, right, she right.
Yeah, that's all.
And so, but that's an agreement that the family come together and go. See, the man, the father, he can, as I say, he has the criteria to go against her mind. He just be quiet, don't say nothing, and then she'll still have that independence. So that's operators to do those things there. So, but this is, I wanted to see it, and this is what I'm telling you, this is God's law, and this is what He have ordained for them to do those things here, and He set the criteria. So understand that that's the way it is. Paul comes along and said the same thing and agreed with the same thing. He says that God, see, the Mashiach, God is His head. The Mashiach, those that believe in the Mashiach and all those things there, and everything there, He's the head of the man. So we all subject, we all. And then for the woman, her husband is the head. And that's the way it is. And if you go against that, you're going against what God has set up. And it sure ain't going to work out. So let us obey it. We must obey y'all's rules. He didn't ask us whether you like it or not, or you set those things there. We must obey y'all's rules and place Him first in our lives. And what I mean by that, sure, it was certain things for to do a certain way and to do a thing, a certain solemn time. But He said, gosh, I want to see who's your boss. Who's over there? After He told Cohen had the boss. He said, I'm your boss. And just because you said, because your sons got killed and everything, He said, don't you go out there and show up that at all. Keep your head covered. So when we cover our heads, just like a woman, when she's married, then she has to cover her head over there. That shows that she's subject under a man. When we have those things there, and coming, especially during those worship time, we're showing that we have a head. Okay? Therefore, Let us be in line with God has said that it might be well with us. This is our Parashah for this week here. May y'all continue to bless us as we learn these things. Everything that goes forth is based upon the Torah. And so when people come with this misunderstood and misguided and thinking about what was going forth, they got it wrong. And that's why the scripture makes mention about the fact there are a lot of people that wrestle with hard sins of Paul to their own destruction. Okay? Okay? Because they don't understand, and they got it now the law done with you. They got all kind of crazy stuff. Paul had no intention of ever saying it. I'll teach you. Okay? As our oath feels, how should we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget your truth, let my right hand get a tongue. But I remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem, above my chief joy. Psalm 137, verse 5 and 6. Shalom, shalom from now, and if God's will, we will see you next Shabbat. We're now going to turn the service over to him.